The thing is, I've got to just do it, because otherwise I psych myself out.
Everyone cheer on 3.
No.
Oh god.
No. Welcome back to Turnabout Breakdown, a podcast about the Ace Attorney series. I'm Jay, and today I'm joined by Devon.
Hello.
Would you like to say where people can find you? I didn't say where people can find me. It's jaymcastello.
You can find me at algae_dust on Instagram and Twitch.
I'm also joined by Adam.
Hi. You can find me.
Great. And I'm also joined by Ro.
Hi, I just want to take a minute to congratulate Jay on such a flawless intro.
I'm gonna kill
that was
myself.
Whoa!
Jesus.
Let's
Cannot
go!
be doing this.
This is such a great energy to start a podcast off with.
I'm becoming Larry Butts right now.
Oh,
Wow,
friend,
okay.
that's
Yeah.
awful. Do you need a minute?
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. I can provide you all a minute. I prepared a statement that I need to read.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This is really hard for me, so give me a second. There are some things I said last episode which I now regret. I made a series of statements with confidence that I believe have not held up with time. No one is perfect, and I am no exception to this. I believe it's important to hold ourselves accountable to things we said in the past, things we may have said recklessly, with no care for hubris or how quickly a put-on persona could crumble when held up to the light. Sometimes we must break kayfabe to own up to our past mistakes. And so with all these things in mind, I'd like to make an announcement. I apologize for the puns I made regarding April May's name. I'm not a pun person, and those japes do not represent my character. I will do my best to make this right going forward. I understand that my apologies may not be enough. I only ask that you give me a chance to prove myself with my actions from this point onwards. Thank you.
I really
Did not make a mistake in this case, don't even worry about it.
Adam, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak up and say that. It's important that we get those sort of things off our chest.
It's so
true.
I would also like to just take a moment to say that I don't remember shit about what happened in our last recording. So if I said anything untoward or something that will not hold up in due course of time, feel free to lord that over my head like the fucking sword of Damocles. I don't give a shit.
All right. All the business has been concluded. Would you like me to read a summary of Turnabout Samurai, the case that we played this week?
Can you read it in the
yes,
form
please.
of a YouTube apology?
No. I don't own a ukulele.
Yeah.
The case opens on Maya watching the cartoon The Still Samurai in the office before immediately finding out that the actor who plays him got arrested for killing the actor who plays the villain. Phoenix and Maya investigate the studio and then head to court. The prosecution's argument hinges on the idea that there was no one around but Powers. That's the guy who plays the Still Samurai. I didn't clarify that in the summary that I wrote. Who could have done the murder? We press the security guard Oldbag to discover that there was a kid running around at the time, which doesn't help much. Without really anywhere else to turn, Phoenix and Maya start to pin it on Oldbag as a delayal tactic, which gives them another day. Oldbag interrupts though and says she has something to reveal, which she was told not to speak about by the studio. Turns out there are actually a bunch of people there that day. With this information, Phoenix and Maya go to investigate some more. Ultimately, they end up where they started because those people were trapped by a fallen mascot head. Although we do find some cool and definitely not relevant evidence like a bottle of sleeping pills. Mia, appearing from nowhere, is like, hey, did you consider talking to that kid who saw everything? After going through a really convoluted process to get the kid, Cody, to talk to us, he's like, yeah, I totally saw the Steel Samurai kill the bad guy, and Gumshoe over here, so that seems bad for us. Back in court, the director, Salmonella, testifies that he was at the studio on the day of the murder, but that he and the producer, D. Vasquez, were trapped and couldn't have done it. Next, we hear from Cody, and through his testimony, we learn that it must have been the victim in the Steel Samurai costume in the picture. Also, the murder took place in the location behind the blocked road, so only the director or the producer could have done it. We get another day of investigation, and Mia leaves, so we get more time with Maya. During the investigation, we uncover an alleged burner by Hammer, which Vasquez was using to manipulate him. Hammer is the victim, which I also did not write in the summary.
Not important.
Although Vasquez tries to have Phoenix and Maya killed, they're rescued by Gumshoe and make it to the final day of the trial. Phoenix pretty quickly gives a plausible explanation that Vasquez killed the victim, but she refuses to admit it and he has no evidence. Edgeworth, confusing everyone, steps in and says she should testify again. At one point, Phoenix asks Vasquez why she didn't have her notes with her, and she slips up and says she already knew there had been a murder, and Phoenix completely doesn't notice. Luckily, Edgeworth does and calls her out on it. Much to think about! Vasquez starts unraveling and says that Hammer was injured, which she quote-unquote knew because she saw him pretending to be Powers. She asks for a motive, and it turns out this was self-defense after Hammer snapped and wanted to kill her for blackmailing him for 5 years. After the case, Edgeworth shows up, and we have a totally normal conversation with him.
Yeah.
And that's Turnabout Samurai.
Who wants to kick it off?
Yeah, I have a general note, which is like coming in pretty late in the case actually, but I'm only making now because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna forget. I really thought that at the end they were going to try and throw Sal under the bus.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised they didn't do that. I thought that was what they were setting up, was like they were saying, oh, you can't be sure that D did it. Or what if this other guy did it? And they didn't do that.
Yeah, they never really brought up that he was complicit that much at all.
Other than that, I genuinely really like this case. I don't want to do ratings now, but that's what I gotta say. I like this one. I think it's worth noting, like bringing it back to the start. We do not see the murder happen at the beginning of this case, and I personally think that really helped me in my enjoyment of this.
That doesn't surprise me based on what you've said before, like when you've talked about sort of wanting it to be a puzzle. And I think that a lot of the cases, at least the 2 cases we've played so far, are not puzzles. They are stories that you tell by sometimes having to do a puzzle. Whereas this one, it was like the whole time being like, well, who the fuck killed this guy? And we don't even meet Vasquez until like more than probably like 2/3 of the way through the case.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a different mode.
I thought it's really interesting about the, is Salmonella going to get involved in this as well? Like in terms of being like culpable, or we're going to throw him under the bus? Because like, I don't know if you folks feel this, but it does feel like when you're in court and you're faced with the killer, it's not then about necessarily like, well, it is about justice, but it's more like Phoenix beating an enemy, like one enemy, and it's a very like personal tete-a-tete kind of situation. And so, like, I guess it becomes much more, like even in what Dee says towards the end of the case, where she's like, I win, you lose. No, yeah, I win, you lose. Or like, it's even referencing that, like, this is just 2 people, like, battling it out. Also, Edgeworth is there, I guess, but, like, this isn't a good case to talk about that stuff.
Edgeworth is kind of just
Edgeworth is the summon in this case, I think.
I think she does call it a game of wits, right?
Yeah,
she does.
absolutely. Because it's not like everyone's like, oh, Salmonella was an accomplice, so we need to like unpick all of that and get to him to. It really is just like, no, Phoenix and Dee are having this like, shonen style showdown.
I guess you're right. I think maybe the case would have lost focus a bit if we went meandering that way.
And it's kind of like interesting, I guess. Like that's the choice they made for it to be much more one-on-one rather than like talking about justice in a broader sense.
Couple of other general notes. A lot of locations in this one and characters.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
That was
God.
I found that to be a bit of a pain, if I'm gonna be honest. Mainly because when I was playing through this, I played about a third of it last night. And that was before it started getting really convoluted with the amount of locations that are involved. So in this game, you've got I can list every single one of these because I headed all of my notes with them. So you've got the law office, the detention center, the Global Studios gate, the Global Studios entrance for Studio 1, the entrance to Studio 2, the dressing room, inside Studio 1, inside Studio 2, the set of the trial, and the court lobby, and I'm missing one, the employee area. So those are all the central areas that you have to move around while you're, doing your investigations. And because a lot of them are linked, you can't go from A to B. You have to go from A to B to C to D in a lot of cases. Like, you have to go from the law office to the entrance of the studios to the entrance to Studio 1 into Studio 1. And it just made the entire process of doing the investigations feel a bit meandering, especially in, I want to say it was like the second or third day of investigations. You have to do what basically amounts to a lot of fetch quests. where
Yeah.
you have people tell you to get a thing, and then you walk 2 screens over and talk to someone, and they give you the thing that they need.
Yeah, they fixed the move tree in later games so that you can get everywhere from everywhere, and it just makes it so much easier.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I remember playing this for the first time as a child, and I can't tell you. I think I was stuck on this case for about a week because I just didn't check one thing. I just endlessly traveling through this fucking move tree and losing my goddamn mind and I'm still traumatized by that. I love this case, but I hate this case.
You want to start with some cartoons?
Yay! I loved this intro, to be honest. Even though it didn't show us a murder scene, I feel like the framing of it as the substitute for the murder scene was really appropriate, considering, it's the sort of pivotal moment that happened in real life that caused a guy to get ganked, basically. But there was a specific line that I hooked on, which was at the closing. So the framing is Maya's watching cartoons in the law office, and it's this cartoon, The Steel Samurai, and it's the closing of the episode where it's him versus the evil magistrate, which I just think is an amazing name for a villain.
Wait, quick correction. It's not a cartoon, this is live action.
Oh yeah, you're right, it's a Sentai show.
Yeah.
So Power Rangers-esque. But yeah, it's this duel between the Steel Samurai and the Evil Magistrate, and they do the classic samurai showdown thing where there's a final strike, and then the camera pans up to the moon, and it says something like only the moon is aware of who was victorious on that night. Find out what happened on the next episode or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, so we're the moon.
We're gonna have to question the moon on day 3.
Yeah. We're gonna have to bring the moon to task. The moon is going to be our first witness to interrogate.
Can I just say, it has never occurred to me that the Steel Samurai is not a cartoon.
Yeah, me too.
It's extremely fucking obvious through this whole case that it's definitely live action. Oops.
Whoopsie.
I agree with that statement.
I feel like they call it a cartoon in later parts of this.
Oh, maybe they
game.
switched to animated
Maybe.
to cut down on I mean, they don't have
Murders.
Risk of death.
It's
Yeah.
non-union animators.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like if the protagonist of your show killed another guy in real life, or even was just accused of killing another guy in real life, you'd probably be like, I don't know if we should keep going in this direction. I don't think that's a good look for us. But yeah, I like the idea of, because a lot of the later half of this investigation hinges on the fact that so the first key piece of evidence that's given to you is the security cameras in the studio have a picture of the Steel Samurai heading towards the scene of the murder, but it's not a picture of the person who plays the Steel Samurai. It's just a guy in a costume, and it's the person who plays the Steel Samurai who everyone's accusing. But since nobody knows who was in that costume, that's sort of analogous to not knowing who really was killed and who really survived, which is basically it's why we're the moon.
Yeah, and the victim was wearing the costume, so actually that guy in the picture who everyone thought was the killer was the guy who died.
It's good. They were cooking on this one.
They were cooking on this one. They were cooking on this one. It was well and truly cooked.
As soon as the TV show finishes, Maya's like, I just found out that they arrested that guy. My favorite guy. They can't arrest my favorite guy.
It's always funny how this happens in TV and serialized things, isn't it? They introduce a new concept, and then it's like, oh, that guy from that thing I liked starting today is in jail. We've got to save him.
I have a Ace Attorney Sins ding here. Is that we get a quick scene in Nick's bedroom, but we don't get to see the bedroom. Is that Phoenix finds out when Maya calls him about the development. He's supposedly in his bedroom, but
You
we don't get
use
to
the
see
word
his
male
bedroom.
living space, and that's absolutely
wanted-
what Phoenix
it's
just
what it
lives
would
on a
be.
mattress. Yeah.
Well, it's heavily implied that he sleeps at the office, so...
I feel like he's still living that college student lifestyle, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I am 100%.
Mattress, pot noodle, nothing else. You open up one of his cupboards, and it's just full of different kinds of soup.
Well, we know he doesn't have any culture, so there's no there are no
Yeah.
screens in there. There's no books.
He is not a man of art.
Yeah.
He's hardly even a man of law. and yet here he is. He does a lot of crime in this one.
The only crime that's bad is murder, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like one fucking quote later on, just going on about like him not being like into art or anything, which I so agree with. And also, like, when you fucking look at some flowers at the studio, he says, "Nameless flowers bloom in solitude. They probably have a proper name, but it is not for me to know. Not now, nor ever, till the end of my days. ... I need a vacation."
He's so
What
poetic.
is happening? What is happening? Why?
Do you know what that
Phoenix,
is?
what?
That's Phoenix reaching beyond the boundaries of his existence and realizing that he is destined to be a video game character that is never allowed to be anything more than he is. And he's like, I'm not allowed to be
Oh,
cultured.
God.
I'm not allowed to enjoy art and smell the flowers. That is not my character. That is not who I am.
So sad.
A vacation for him would be being in a different medium than a video game where he has to be a lawyer.
I can't wait to be in the anime instead.
Do we have to review that as well?
Do you want to?
I mean, we
what about
could,
the live
yeah.
action?
No, the live action is a whole other kettle of fish.
Okay.
You want to see Edgeworth played by a woman singing
Yes.
about how compromised he feels?
Wait, is it like they made it straight?
No, it's an all-female production.
It's
Oh,
so
yes.
incredible.
It rules.
Awesome.
It's the only musical I care about.
One other thing I forgot to mention is that it is very strongly established that this show that this is all based around, this Steel Samurai show, it's for like little kids, right?
Yeah.
It's for like little baby kids. He does condemn a guy to hell in it.
It's fine.
Yeah, kids love that shit.
I feel like if I was watching like SpongeBob SquarePants or something, and Sandy Cheeks got in a samurai duel with Patrick Star, and she just said, "Patrick, this is the end for us. After this, the only place I'll be seeing you is in hell, you son of a bitch," and then killed him with a samurai sword. I don't know if they'd put that on TV.
They should. Well,
They
you
should.
made a reference in your notes to the Shadow Realm of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I thought that was a translation-only thing. I thought in Japan they were like, "You're going directly to hell."
Oh yeah, but in Japan, it's not a children's show. It's like for cool
see.
teens.
That makes sense. I think this might be a show for cool teens, but that we only see through the eyes of Cody and also Maya, who is a cool teen.
Yeah.
Maya is a cool teen. I love Maya in this episode. She's so fun.
She is.
Maya's fucking incredible, and I love her with all my heart. Except for very shortly after this moment, where she sees Will Powers and immediately says he definitely did it. Murder at least once, maybe twice. Like,
Insane.
baby girl, what the fuck?
And he's just this like sad, like beast-looking thing. He's like
Yeah.
I love him
a
so
defeated
much.
like animal.
Oh, I love him so much.
He's just a guy.
He's just
Yeah.
a sweet,
Wet
sad
dog.
bear. Like,
He is a Labrador, that is it. Nothing else.
yeah, and then the moment he starts getting upset, she changes her mind.
Yeah.
So this is also really funny because later on, who does she meet? I think she meets Cody and she's like, cool, I'm going to chat to this kid and be a cool person talking to a child. And then immediately she's like, I hate him. This kid is the worst. And I just love
This
how
kid is the
quickly she
killer.
like whiplashes and it's just like, here's my first impression. I completely disagree with it. Here we go.
She's so dead set on her feelings, and I love her for it.
Yeah, same.
There's another joke here with the guard that Ro talked about in the last episode, which I don't think I've ever seen before, and it was so fun for me to see a new joke in Ace Attorney that just like I'm sure I've seen it before, but I only really internalized it because of hearing Ro talk about it, and I was like, it was very nice moment for me. But where Phoenix is commenting on the gun, he says he seems frozen in awe of Will Powers. Because
Yeah, I love that.
It's a static background. It's very good.
Very cute.
Yeah, and Will asks us to be his lawyer, and we go to the studio to investigate, where we meet Miss Oldbag, the security guard.
Now here's a character.
Now here is a
Sweet
character.
old lady.
Now here's a character. So, her name is Oldbag.
Her name is Oldbag.
Yeah, which you might think, well, that's an interesting surname. I wonder what her first name is. And I think it's like, is it literally Windy or is it Wendy?
It's Wendy. Yeah.
Okay. Because there are so many times where they intentionally fuck up her name because people are being mean to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, her name is Wendy Oldbag, which is only the second worst pun name in this episode.
I'd argue for third.
Oh. Okay.
Stay tuned for my definitive rankings.
Yes. Okay. That's gonna have to wait until the end of the analysis.
We meet Gumshoe at the studio, and he has some normal things to say about Edgeworth. Who is having a normal time, I think.
He's just been staring out of the window while drinking his tea since he
Yeah.
No,
lost his face.
he specifically says before that sentence that we made him cry.
Yeah.
He's having a normal day.
I do want to point out that there's a bird noise here, and it is really weird.
It's so bit crushed. It's literally like someone's just got a keyboard and is pressing like two notes on it over and over again, like a MIDI
I was
keyboard.
like,
and
is
it's just
this-
going breep, breep, breep.
Is this going to be relevant? Is like the weird bird going to be part of the case? No, it's just there.
We're just out in nature.
Yeah.
Ambiance. It's vibes.
Yeah, this is like towards the entrance of Studio One where the murder took place, and like the main things that are there are Gumshoe and a big monkey statue that fell over.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating because Phoenix doesn't know what kind of monkey it is.
Which
Yeah,
is
me either,
fair,
bud.
because it doesn't look like a fucking monkey, if you ask me.
I mean, it's a mascot. It's more of an abstraction of form than anything else.
Oh wait, can we
I
talk
think
about
for the
this? Can we
longest
talk
time I
about
thought
what
it
you
was a
thought it
fucking
was?
caterpillar. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so glad someone else thought that. I have always thought it looks like a fucking caterpillar. It's got the samurai thing on.
I did not think that. I just really enjoyed that note.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, can we edit it so it sounds like you think that too? That would be great. For my
I
ego.
don't know what I thought this thing was. He was just a funny guy, you know?
Yeah, this is the thing, is, like, you see a lot of mascots from Japan, and a lot of them aren't even based off animals, they're just based off, like, fun ideas. And they just look like nice guys that just, like, wander around. Their design chops for, you know, like, transportation mascots, town mascots, all of that sort of thing, fantastic. But a lot of them always end up looking nothing like what they're supposed to represent. Like this, what I can only assume is supposed to be a proboscis monkey, considering the comment on the nose. So deformed it is that its head easily drifted from its shoulders in a slight breeze. It has been decapitated by the forces of nature, rent to nothing more than a pile of rubble, which does become surprisingly relevant later.
Kind of. It turns out that actually it's relevant to how we find out what happened, but actually it was fine.
Here's the thing. And this is the thing. So,
Tell us about the thing.
so here's the thing. It's clobbering time. I really thought that this was going to be a situation of, so much later in the case, you find out that there was a bunch of people somewhere that couldn't get to the murder scene because the mascot fell and blocked one of the paths. I really thought that the fact that the mascot fell was going to be like bullshit, and they actually like broke it in order to have an alibi for themselves. Because I was like, you made a mascot so bad that on a windy day where literally nothing else was damaged, like a 50-pound head got launched from the body of this chimp and could have killed someone. Let's be real. Someone could have died from that.
But they do not have a lot of workplace safety there based on multiple incidents.
Yeah! Yeah, no kidding.
And, like, literally everything is fucking broken. Like, what's one more giant statue?
They really need to get, like, some... Like, this is a really tiny studio. It's 2 lots and has, like, 5 staff members.
I really like that both for the case and also for Ace Attorney the game, that the size of the studio is limited by budget.
It's true.
I mean, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, I think I said as well, like, it's such a small studio, everything's fucking broken. Like, Penny, a character you meet later on, says multiple times that she fixes all the props and makes them worse than they were before, and, like, the backdrops and stuff. And yet, everyone fucking loves this show, and I just love the idea that, like, watching it would be like watching the most cursed shit, like, low-budget trash thing, and yet everyone loves it so much. Like, I don't know, I just fucking deeply appreciate that.
It just goes to show, like, money isn't everything when it comes to a good production.
So
True.
true.
They're just a small indie studio. They can't be blamed for murder.
There's got to be so many fucking Reddit threads about, like, all the shit that people have spotted in the background that's broken. I just get really excited about it. Deep samurai lore.
I think it does also speak to, like, the, like, Sentai genre, because, like, if you've ever watched, like, Power Rangers, they are always just in, like, a parking garage somewhere, or, like, a...
They're in that same ditch every
Yeah.
week, fighting some guy whose costume is mostly spray-painted cardboard, sweating their asses off in the summer heat. They're the
And it
real
rolls.
ones. It does roll. Back in those days, all we had was spandex, 50 pounds of explosives, and a dream.
Yeah, maybe that's where this is all the studio's budget is going towards. So we met Gunshu.
Yes.
We insult this man.
Yeah.
Well-
He's kind of asking for it.
Yeah. We tell him, hey, the cops suck.
Yeah, I think Gumshoe actually gets a pretty good showing in this case.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
We're still mean to him,
We are.
but it's, you know,
It's
it is
ribbing.
what it is.
It's
That's
ribbing.
ribbing.
He's mad at us for making Edgeworth upset, and we're mad at him for pulling the most insane bullshit in the previous case.
He does apologize though.
Good.
He says sorry
I'm
about
glad.
the autopsy report stuff.
He
I know-
says,
I know-
Maybe it's
I'm
not
glad
good to
there's
forge
continuity.
evidence.
Yeah, maybe. Huh, maybe.
Maybe.
Interesting.
I'm thinking.
But yeah, from talking with Gumshoe, we then get... I can't remember what leads us to going to check out the employee area. I think it's just because all the other areas are barred and locked and we don't have access to them at the moment. But we get to snoop around the employee area after we go bother the security guard again.
Yeah, and she has spent so much time just telling the police literally anything that they want to know. Like, she has thrown everyone under the bus very happily, specifically Will Powers. Like, she is so ready to fuck that guy over. Wendy Oldbag is a narc.
I feel like it says a lot about how security guards view cops in a grander sense, because I feel like a lot of them do just think of themselves as, you know, cops to be. So like seeing someone like Detective Gumshoe as bumbling and buffoonish as he is still something that Oldbag could probably view as aspirational, because I feel like she is the kind of woman that craves being a position of authority.
Yeah, so much. And like you see later on in the court case, she then throws Gumshoe under the bus to impress Edgeworth, and like this lady is like, I will stand on the, you know, backs of whoever to get where I fucking need to be.
Yeah, and like she's telling Gumshoe a lot of stuff, but she never tells him about the other people who were in the studio, because like they're the other authority that she answers
Yeah.
to. So it's like there's a lot of levels of like brown nosing going on right now.
And
Shouting through
then
violence.
And then she throws them under the bus, which led me to write down the note, Oldbag fears no god. Oh, I love her. She's awful.
Oh yeah, this is also the bit where she talks about the first photo that you're able to look at, but like she doesn't let you look at it, so she's like intentionally withholding evidence from a lawyer, which I don't know if you're allowed to do, especially if you state very clearly that I've got this thing that would help you in your case, but fuck you, I'm not gonna let you look at it.
Yeah. I mean, she is definitely allowed to do that, but I'm pretty sure that like the police and the prosecution are supposed to hand it over, but not in this world.
Yeah, that's the bit that's tripping me up, because she, like, I wouldn't care as much if she didn't already give it to Gumshoe, who is involved in this case.
Yeah, I mean, they play pretty fast and loose with evidence in this game. And specifically this case, like, literally no one in that courtroom has any idea what the hell is going on.
One of these days we'll play a case in this game, and someone will go up to the witness podium, and they will speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We will be given the opportunity to cross-examine, and we'll just say to the judge, "Nope, I'm good. Next."
They did it, Your Honor.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I believe in people, Adam. I believe that there is someone out there who, when given the opportunity to do the right thing, to speak the truth, and see that justice is met, that they will do so. Because you know what it is that's stopping people from doing that, as is evidenced by these games? It's self-doubt. It's sometimes self-loathing.
I see. Yeah.
So I think we all need to take a second, look inside ourselves, and reflect on what we would do in these situations. Would we lie to the police? Don't say yes.
Right, but like, here's the thing. I think Penny is that kind of character, but we do not call her to the stand.
No, because she is so normal. Literally.
I love her so much.
Like, the moment you see her animations, you're like, okay, she's too normal to have a breakdown animation.
I just noticed I did not make a single note about Penny this first day. She did not leave an impression on me, apparently.
Do you even meet her in the first day?
Yeah, but she doesn't do anything. She's just,
Right.
You're just being made aware that she's around.
Her full name, by the way, Penny Nichols.
I don't get that one.
Nichols,
Just
like the
coins.
American coin.
Is that the joke? Just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does she have anything to do with coins? Not really.
If that's in your top 3 for pun names, Adam, this podcast is over.
You said worst 3.
From my perspective, I feel like the better a pun is, the worse it is.
So true.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
They gave her a name, and it's Penny Nichols. It's like 6 cents.
Well, it's Nichols. It could be any amount of.
Wait, it's
Nichols.
6
you're
cents,
right.
and she's the person who detected that someone was outside the studio when no one else
Oh,
did.
fuck.
Oh,
That's
fuck.
insane.
I don't think
That
that's
cannot be on
true.
purpose.
I don't.
Holy
think that's-
shit! We cracked this case wide open.
There's some real world building going on here. We have other psychic powers at play. Fuck.
So this is the bit where we do a lot of our snooping. We get into the employee area, and Maya, who is like, we haven't really mentioned this yet, Maya is like such a fangirl for all of this. And I found that so jarring, because the entire time I was just like, hey, Maya, like, someone died here.
Yeah.
So not only did someone die here, but like your childhood hero is being accused of murder.
The guy who died is an actor in your favorite show.
Well,
Yeah.
Hold on, wait. Yeah, I want to make a note of this. This is episode 13 of this show that they are recording. This show has not been going for very long.
I didn't say what season.
Yeah.
But like,
It's a possibility
this is
that it could be like season 9.
true. Yeah. Yeah. And also, like, I feel like this is supposedly set in the future, and also it's not, because they're definitely watching this week by week. And like 13 weeks of like watching a show, I feel like you get fucking invested, right? Like,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
It can't be set in the future, because we established by this point in the case that their security system consists of a camera that takes black and white photographs of everyone who walks through the security gate, and that the security guard then disposes of those pictures at the end of the day. Which
She
is
does it- She does it
insane.
on a computer. It's pretty high tech.
Also, later on, there's a very important piece of evidence, which is a digital camera, and the judge is like, what is this newfangled piece of technology?
He like pulls you aside and he's like, hey.
I love the
hey,
judge in this
Phoenix,
case.
I love the judge.
What is a digital camera? You seem hip. You seem with it. Not like this.
Explain
Edgeworth
to
guy.
me this concept of intranet.
You know, I like to think it's so far in the future that everyone's got cameras on their phones, but now they've regressed and started splitting technology into separate things again. And therefore, the
Right.
idea of a standalone camera is insane. Like,
We
Maybe
know
there was
that's
a
not
sort of a
true because
war.
we've seen Maya's phone. That does not have a camera.
Yeah, they took it out
That's
and
true.
made it its own
That was
thing.
actually a boner. There was a digital Dark Age. They had a sort of Terminator
Yeah.
Salvation event, and
Right.
all technology was destroyed, and then humanity was built back up.
Yeah, that's
Fucked up.
exactly what happened. I can't wait for us to get to that case of the game.
Neo Old Tokyo is actually just what Tokyo was like before the Dark Age, before the collapse. But yeah, we're doing all this snooping, and every time you click on anything, Maya's just like, "Oh wow, look at that from films and my shows." And
She wants
it's
to steal
super
something from the dressing room.
She wants to steal everything.
I love Maya Faye.
Yeah,
Having a great
she's
time.
amazing.
Phoenix keeps insulting her, and I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
I get why he needs to be like the straight man to her like goofiness, but let's be real, they're both just these are two kids right now.
Yeah.
This is an older brother and a younger sister fucking around in a studio that they got given the keys to.
You are extremely right.
But yeah, they break into the dressing room of Will Powers, the person that they are defending, and end up stealing some of his possessions for fun, so that they can do more snooping in other parts of the studio. They take his like key card that gets him into the filming studios, and that's fine, I guess.
We're investigating. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's fine to just take stuff, I guess. It's interesting how, like, valued those keycards are. This place is such a dichotomy when it comes to security. It's like, they've got low-tech cameras, they've got a terrible security guard, they've got, like, poor methods of digital storage, but they've also got these keycards that you can't take with you anywhere. You have to check them in and out at the end of every day, and you literally can't get into any part of the place except for the like employee lounge without having one. Like I can't even do that at my job. My job isn't that secure, and I can die at my job.
You could die at this job as well. It's happened twice.
Yeah, apparently nowhere is safe.
I'd argue the camera's pretty high tech. It's got a sensor on it to see when people are close.
It's a wildlife trail camera.
Yeah.
It kind of is, actually.
Pretty
That is
high-tech.
kind of the best analog.
Let me tell you about that key card, because that is the thing which traumatized me as a child. Because I didn't realize that you had to inspect the Studio One gate to use the key card. And I legitimately was stuck for like, a fucking week.
Yeah.
Just wandering around these empty spaces, repeating fucking dialogue over and over again, losing my mind.
Rose said earlier that like there's a lot of fetch quests in this case, but to me it feels like this case is like bizarrely like a point and click adventure game, like an old like 90s one where you have to do a bunch of like combining items and like showing the right people items and stuff.
It is very strange.
Yeah.
I've recently been playing a couple of other games from this kind of era. I recently finished Beyond Good and Evil from 2004. And there's a lot of like weird esoteric things that you have to do to progress the story. Like there's one section where you walk into a room and you have to like point your camera up towards the top of the room to play the cutscene to carry on. And I felt like that really primed me for this case.
I never really got stuck with what to do at any point. I was just sort of bothered by the meandering nature of the whole thing. That was mostly just limited by, mechanical things rather than the actual structure of the narrative. But it did mean that there were a lot of times where, especially this morning, because I got up way earlier than I was planning to, and then I said I'm gonna perform my ablutions and then I'm gonna finish this Ace Attorney case. And I was very tired, and there were so many times where I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave this place and I'm gonna go to this place and I'm gonna go to the next place that I've got to get to. And what I ended up doing was just like 4 times in a row, just going back and forth between the two places because I wasn't reading the text descriptions of where I was going. I was just like,
yeah. Yeah, been there, done that.
I'm glad I'm not alone in that.
Oh, no.
But hey, now that we've got our toys, we can go see where a guy died.
Woo!
Allegedly.
Yeah.
With a child. We'll take a child
Yeah.
to see where
Yeah.
a
A
guy
child
died.
who found her sister dead like a month ago.
Yeah, so kids see a lot of death in this game, and this moment's no different. Is there is something like very real about going to the place where it happened and seeing the like outline of where the guy's body was and things like that. And Maya comments on this. She's just like very uncomfortable by the whole thing, and I'm just like, yeah. Yeah, a guy. We're here because a guy died, Maya. I would have hoped you would have, like, mentally prepared yourself for this a bit. I can't be mad at her though. Like, she is a kid, and like all of her interactions so far in this episode have just been her being very lighthearted and very goofy, and it's a stark contrast when she's suddenly in the room where a guy died and having to investigate where the guy died.
Mm-hmm.
And then you investigate a camera and she thinks about stealing it.
I love Maya
She tries
so
to
much.
pick it up.
But yeah, like doing that is how you meet Penny, because she gets mad at you for touching the equipment.
Now, there's a note I want to make about Penny before we continue. If you check the character profiles, you will find out that she is 18 years old.
Holy shit.
I'd say that's yeah.
It's only 1 year older than Maya. I think she got a pretty good gig. Yeah. I don't think I could have gotten a job at a film studio at 18.
Yeah.
Well, considering this is like a small independent whatever. Well, it's not even independent. Considering this is like a small studio that produces one piece of media, and a lot of places are often desperate for runners. If you know the right people, it's not that hard. It would be hard
so
to
we're
get like
saying Penny is like
Is
a
Penny
Nepo
Nichols
baby.
Nepo baby?
a Penny Nepo baby. It's not really nepotism. It's more just like, do you know a guy who knows a place that needs work? Like, for instance, I can speak from experience. I took a like film studies course, an extracurricular film studies course when I was in secondary school that had like ins in the industry, It was like a course you had to apply for. I think you had to write a essay about film in order to get involved with it. And at the end of it, you would also be able to use that experience as reference for like work in the industry and that sort of thing. And in doing that, because this is, I think it was called like the BFI Film Academy. And they're actually like involved with a lot of stuff that happens in England. So there were definitely possibilities. Like at the end of the entire thing, they were like, oh, there are these events where you can do like networking and stuff like that and get to know people who could be looking for, newly experienced young people who want to start working in the industry. Because like, if there's one thing you always hear, it's like impossible to get work in a place like Hollywood. But another thing that I heard a lot when doing that sort of work is that so many people got their start being like runners and jobbers, and then filling in when someone got sick or someone like injured themselves, which I think is insane. Like that is not a practical way to climb a business ladder. But it's also like very much how this industry works on when you're not talking about, multi-million blockbuster. When it's like small independent studios and stuff like that, that is often the kind of way that you get in that experience. And I could very much see Penny being the kind of person that got there in from that, which sort of explains why she's doing what she does despite being so unexplainably incompetent at it.
Do we have anything else that we want to talk about from the investigation, or do we want to go and do a trial?
There is something extremely important that we have not mentioned, which I
Please.
think only Jay will really understand why it's so important.
Please.
Stepladder.
Yeah.
Fucking stepladder.
We have an argument about stepladder.
You can observe a stepladder, and they will argue about whether it's a ladder or a stepladder. It's the most important thing that happened in this entire case. No one can tell me otherwise.
Yeah, I know vaguely about this because one of the achievements for the Steam version references this dialogue, and that you have to find all of it. That's all I
Get
know.
that achievement.
We'll see.
Interesting.
That's it. That's all
Could
I
have
have
missed
to
one
say.
already.
Yeah, who knows? I like Maya's reaction to Phoenix being narrow-minded, though, because she's right.
She's right.
He's very brash and loves to draw assumptions about people based on his own lack of understanding of the world.
It's
And
true.
of course,
There's
Maya famously
Yeah.
doesn't do that.
It's a little hypocritical.
It is a little hypocritical, no doubt.
She does it
But,
with a smile.
Yeah, but she's nice.
Yeah, she's likable, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, should we go to court?
Oh, let's go to court.
I
I was
agree.
not expecting Edgeworth to be here. There is no fanfare or anything about this. He is just there on the other side of the courtroom.
It's the fact that in the last episode you two were like, "Oh, I'm excited to see the other prosecutors," and I was like, "Okay, okay."
Yeah, Edgeworth's here.
That's what's here.
You don't see him in the waiting room beforehand. He's just
doing his job.
And it becomes quickly clear that he is not the same person he was in the last episode.
Oh, did something happen to him?
He is all over the place.
He's all over the place this entire episode, to be honest.
He really is. It's so funny.
He is working on no prep. He is basically on the same footing as Phoenix in this case.
Yeah.
He is completely blindsided by the witness every 5 seconds.
I think it's later on in the case. It's still in court, and he says, "Oh, it's when he's like, verily, ergo,
Yeah.
etc." And I'm like, this is a man who has never had to think on his feet ever in his fucking life. He's having a horrible
There's
time.
a part where we talk about the photo, and Phoenix is like, "Well, you it's just the still samurai. It could be anybody in there." And Oldbag says, "Well, anyone can see that it's Will Powers." And Miles Edgeworth says, "No, they can't.
No, they can't.
I mean, I wonder." Oh fuck! I forgot what my job was. Fuck.
It's just so funny how quickly he went from antagonist to B villain.
I'd say at the end of this episode, he went to deuteragonist, actually.
Yeah, it's really good.
So good. I love this stupid man.
Yeah, so this first trial opens with Gumshoe giving everyone the rundown of the chronology of the events. But one thing that struck me as interesting is that it asks you to confirm to make sure that you remember all the details, like the times and things like that. I'm going to be honest, there's never really a point in any of the subsequent trials, or later in this trial, where the time that things happened was actually that relevant. Phoenix will comment on them, but you are not required to remember any of that information because Phoenix just knows it.
Well, maybe they're laying groundwork for something going ahead.
They better not be. So this is the old bag. This is the trial of Old Bag, right?
This is a
Yeah.
trial of Oldbag.
She completely controls this courtroom.
She
Yeah,
really
it's
does.
awesome.
Good for her.
She is
Yeah.
large and in charge. So she's I don't know if she was the first character to do this in this game. I feel like there are probably others, but she is the only character in this case who talks and it auto skips her dialogue to indicate that she's
Yeah.
just rambling and rambling and
It's
rambling.
really fun.
It's so good.
And there is a bit where she talks so much that I think Edgeworth objects to her talking and
Yeah.
and tells the judge, please make her shut up. And the judge is just like, objection sustained, shut the fuck up. It's really good because she's just rambling about her past before anyone actually talks about anything useful. And this is the bit that pissed me off. She gets mad that Penny said something that she wasn't supposed to say. So you get some information from Penny that's relevant to the case, and she goes demon mode. She gets really angry at Penny. And one of the things she says is she's only a part-time employee. You find out very, very quickly in this trial that Old Bag starts her shift at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
So, what are we doing here?
I love her. Also, what comes out as part of this is that there's these fanboys who run around and break onto the set. And she's so fucking mad about the fanboys. She is the original fanboy. So she's just
Yeah.
full of shit, basically. She wants to have her identity and no one can take it from her, I think is long and short of it. She will be the only part-time fanboy on site.
Right, because she starts work at 1 because
Mhm.
she spends the morning watching them rehearse and cheering from the sidelines, basically.
So wild.
That
She's-
She's living her best life.
That's real.
That is real. You're right. What's not real? What's not real? What I don't support is the fact that when Edgeworth jumps in to defend her after you first raise criticism against her, is that she swoons and calls him edgy boy.
Yeah, that do happen. And
I don't think that's
she-
a winner.
Let the old lady be horny for Edgeworth. What's your problem?
I don't.
Yeah. She also wants him to call her grandma, which I can't fucking deal with. Jesus Christ.
She just
Go
loves her
Queen.
sweet boy. Go Queen.
Oh, God. Oh, and when they ask her, like, how could you tell that this person was suspicious? She says, by looking at their faces for the most part. Which, this is such a theme of this case, which is like, I looked at this person and I thought they were fucking suspicious, so they probably did it. Love this
Everyone
world.
comes into these investigations with a magnifying glass in one hand and a pair of calipers in the other.
It's not great.
So the crux of this day in court is 1. We have a photo of the suspect who is in costume, so we cannot verify who they are. 2, that this is the second photo taken of the day, and the first one was of a child who snuck into the lot. And that's it, really. We are mostly just playing for time so we can get a second day on the case. We do so by accusing someone else of
By
the
accusing
murder,
Oldbag.
which is wild.
Love justice.
Something that's said here, which is really funny, is the judge says, if you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. What are we doing here?
Don't worry about it.
If you know they're obviously innocent, why are they even here? What's going on, Mr. Judge? There's a lot that you do actually learn from the proceedings of this case, because this is the bit... There are so many times in this series do people not provide crucial bits of information until the day of the trial. So there's the main photo that we've been talking about, the one of the Steel Samurai heading towards the lot. There's a second photo that she didn't mention until recently of one of the kids, the fanboy who invaded the lot. And she says that the kid crawled through a drain to get onto the site, which is
Yeah, you can find this drain if you're just like meandering around the set.
yeah, you can find it, but I'm just like he crawled
So
through a drain.
Yeah, you know.
Kids these days, you know.
You can see through the hole in the drain to the other side, so it's not like a long one. And they also say it's huge.
Why is
Well,
it there?
basically the first thing that we do in this investigation, the second investigation, is go and see Penny, who's like, I had to board up this drain, and then immediately rip it off.
Yeah.
I do want to say the first note on my investigation, which I completely forgot that I wrote, is really good bird noises. So I guess I was into them.
I
Yeah.
think, this second day of, investigation, most of the, locations don't have characters in, and there's one point where you literally go from one end of the, location tree to the other without interacting with anyone in between. And I've always found this, so eerie and kind of weird, and then when you keep, pressing the wrong next location and go back on yourself and go forwards, I've always found this day really kind of melancholic, and also because the trial's a bit fucked up and you've not really got a sense of hope. Yeah, and then you've got these bird noises which are weirdly stark. I also enjoy the bird noises, but they definitely add to this Yeah, weird fucking vibe.
Yeah, and two of these environments have the like slide function as well, where they're like two screens, so it's even bigger and sparser.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, I didn't ever actually use the slide function on my first day at the employee area because I just completely forgot that was a thing you could do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I missed anything relevant by skipping that. Oh, we did forget to mention one important thing from the trial, which is one of Phoenix's best lines.
We all wrote it down.
Yeah, we all wrote it down, so it's definitely worth bringing
Is
up
this the first time he mentions Sherlock Holmes 2? I feel like he's said that before.
Really?
He has not said Sherlock Holmes 2 before.
I think you've seen it on twitter.com, probably.
I may have seen it on twitter.com.
He has never mentioned his secret identity of being Sherlock Holmes 2. But yeah, that line is immortal and fantastic. But I think the whole sequence of that being like there's a bit before that where you have to decide who else could be the murderer because you're trying to deflect blame from Will Powers because you need to extend the trial. And your options are to choose the kid or the security guard. And I chose the kid because I was like, can you choose Penny?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I knew it wasn't Penny because she's too normal.
Who's 9-year-old on the other hand?
Yeah. Do you know what made me pick the kid? Because I thought the excuse of a child not being able to wield a spear is bullshit.
Yeah, they're light. Well, they say it's a heavy spear, but that seems
They say
contradictory.
it's heavy, but that seems ridiculous. And also, like, kids can pick up heavy stuff. Kids are not as weak as you might assume. But also, it doesn't even matter anyway. But yeah, I ended up accusing the kid. But then the judge is like, Phoenix, that's insane. Guess again. and then you pick the security guard, and then he's like, oh yeah, baby, Sherlock Holmes 2, baby. Don't worry about the other stuff I just said.
I didn't know that was the context of him saying that, which is really funny because he's not even like him and everybody else are just like, well, I don't really think she did it. I'm just playing for time here. My court system that works really well.
Yeah, the whole court system situation is still insane. But it's like to the point where even Edgeworth is like, you know what? It's more likely her than the other guy, right? And even Edgeworth like forgets her name as well. Like just no one cares about this lady at all.
She's not having a great
so
time.
sad.
Wait, there's also one other thing that I totally forgot. There's the screen fades to black and you think the court is over, but then she interrupts the transition and comes back to yell at everyone.
Yeah, and to reveal the existence of Salmonella and Vasquez.
Salmonella.
Salmonella.
Now that's a name.
Now that's a name.
I would argue that to be one of the top 3 worst puns in this episode.
Me too.
I think I'd put it at the top.
I would agree in that assessment.
Do you want to talk about Salmonella?
I really don't, but we have to.
Yeah.
Is that where we go next?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, more or less. Well, to speed through things, you go to the opening of Studio 2, there's a trailer there, you hear something fall over in the trailer, and you find out that it's locked. And so you have to then find the key for it, which is not clear, so you wander around the lot, and eventually you go to the dressing room, which is where Salmonella is hanging out.
Yeah.
So he's the director.
Yeah.
That's his thing. And
that's the only thing about him.
He has no personality. We're talking about no.
We have to get into this. This is the bit we're all dreading.
Everyone
He talks in leet
off.
speak.
Which is the least of his problems.
Yeah, which is
so
not his
for
worst
the
character
kids in
trait.
the audience. So for anyone under the age of 25 in the audience, God, this is upsetting, contextually speaking. Leet speak was specifically a term used by like gamers. As a sort of, I don't want to call it a coded language. It's more just like, how would you describe the structure of leet speak exactly?
It's just an in-joke, basically.
Yeah. It's basically you replace your E's with your 3s, you replace your A's with your 4s, You're basically doing everything you can to obfuscate how you're talking by replacing as many letters as you can with numbers. It's obnoxious, and it thankfully has been left in the early 2010s and has not come back.
Yeah. Until today.
Unless you're Salmonella.
Until this
Salmonella
man.
also starts drawling about Maya and says, I'm gonna make a new TV show about you. And then at the end of the case, we learn that he actually does do that, which is probably not good.
Yeah, it's so gross. Yeah, his design is not good either.
His design is also not
atrocious.
good.
His design is atrocious. Let's be real. When this guy first showed up, I immediately pegged him as like, oh, this is just another fanboy. But he's the director of the show.
Yeah.
Which is one thing. His design, God, how would you even describe it? He is a sweaty, overweight man who wears like the kind of thing that a fanboy would wear. He's got like a hat that also has a top knot on it. Like a samurai top knot, and he is like constantly sweating. He's got like the towel around his shoulders to like mop his sweat and stuff. He's just supposed to be like the prototypical creepy otaku kind of guy.
Yeah.
Except it's made so much worse by the fact that he is in this position of authority that you have to interact with him on like, you know, the kind of footing where he can have the advantage. And not only does he end up making a show based on his initial interaction with Maya, but he says some very, very creepy stuff to her the first time you meet him.
Yeah, he
and
fucking does.
Yeah, it is like untenable. It's he's basically just like slavering and drooling over this 17-year-old girl, and it's disgusting. I'm gonna say out the gate, I am so fucking glad that. So later on in this case, Mai comes back. Maya does the thing where, like, she channels Mai through herself. I'm so fucking glad you never have to talk to the director while she's doing that.
Oh
That's a really
god,
good
that's
point,
such a good
yeah.
fucking point, Jesus.
Yeah, because that would have been atrocious.
I just looked up Salmonella because I was curious about how old he is, because you're right, he looks like a fanboy, but he is 32 years of age.
Jesus Christ.
And I found out on the wiki that his Japanese name is literally Annoying Otaku.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
That is appropriate. But yeah, like there's so many problems with this character and his design. Like even if he weren't a gross perverted creep, his design itself would still be problematic. Like it's kind of fatphobic and is based on like a really uncomfortable stereotype of, chauvinistic misogynists who base their entire identity on children's shows, basically. And it's one of these things that this game does, unfortunately, at least once every episode, where it's supposed to be wacky, it's supposed to be relatively lighthearted considering the subject matter, which, usually involves murder, but oftentimes it tries to do this via certain characters and certain themes that are unfortunately real, and making jokes about them just feels gross. And it would be one thing if he was just a creep to a teenage girl. Like that is there, and it is bad, and it is upsetting, and we all hated it. But it's also bad that he's like, an industry professional who could very easily get people like Maya involved in his work.
Yeah,
and
it's
probably
so
had to
fucking
do that
grim.
for the creation of his show. It's just like one of those things where the more you think about it, the more upset it makes you. And even though he's not in the case that much, he was like a major sour point for the whole thing. So that's gonna affect the ratings at the end of this episode.
Fair enough.
As it should.
And also, like, every time you show him something that he doesn't have, like, a candid response to, he ends up, like, slavering and drooling and starts looking at Maya weirdly. Bad character. Bad all-around experience.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
After we talk to him, we go back out, and Old Bag is here, and she's like, "You motherfucker had me arrested." But the police let me go because it's really obvious that I couldn't have been wearing that costume because it's way too big for me. She's really pissed off, and it's very funny and very deserved.
Yeah.
I like it when people yell at Phoenix and he deserves it, because he's often a piece of shit.
Yeah. He is a piece of shit.
I feel like that's something a lot of people don't seem to realize about Phoenix Wright before they play these games, because I certainly didn't. I honestly thought, like, I knew he was like a bit of a goofball from memes I saw on the internet, but I honestly thought that he was always going to be like, you know, a good guy, like a morally upstanding citizen. But I am convinced that even if by the end of the case it was found out that the person he was defending was in fact the guilty party and a murderer, he would still do everything in his power to make sure that person didn't go in jail, including throwing like a 10-year-old under the bus, for instance, just off the top of my
Holy
head.
shit.
Lawyer behavior.
A quick correction about Cody. He is 7 years old.
Really?
No, I thought he was 9.
I thought he was 10.
Let's find out. Devin, you want to place a bet?
I'm going to say 8.
He's 7.
Well
Adam was
done.
right.
I read my profiles.
And we meet him right after this.
We do.
Yeah.
This
Because
guy.
we opened up the grate and he's back.
Man, for a grown-up, you sure are dumb.
I love this kid. I think
love
Cody
this
is
kid.
awesome.
Cody
Cody is such a
is
character.
great.
He feels like he'd fit right in like a majority of like, you know, fun, upbeat children's cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
His design is great. He's got like this really nice color palette of like lime greens, and he carries around like a plastic katana and a camera because he's a big dork.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the katana can be like fully unsheathed, or do you think that's part of the like time mechanism that it can't be? Because he never pulls it
I
out.
think it can be. I think he's just a dumb kid.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Kinda.
it's just too long
Mm.
for his arm.
Oh,
Yeah, well, like katanas aren't supposed to be no sword is supposed to be like withdrawn from a sheath on the back.
but it looks cool.
It does look cool. That is the thing. It does look cool. That's why they did it in Lord of the Rings. But no, like every time a sword is used in real life, unless it's like an incredibly large sword, then you sheath that shit at the hip. And honestly, like. I can't think of many pieces of media I've seen where katanas are sheathed on the back, but he was just like, he wasn't actually, he just had that shit loose in his backpack. So I think it was just on his back because he didn't have anywhere else to put it.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, so this is the kid I accused of murder.
Also, at this point, we just discover sleeping pills, which is really funny. Like, this
Yeah.
didn't come up before.
Nobody saw them. Don't worry about it.
Somebody knocks into the table. I think maybe Cody does.
Yeah, he
and,
does when he's running away.
And we're like, oh shit, this bottle of sleeping pills just fell off the table that we looked at in the last investigation.
The interesting thing about this is the stuff people ate on the day of the murder comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was so on the nose where I was like, okay, this is either going to be a crucial piece of evidence or it's going to be a really stupid running joke. And I was constantly going back and forth in my brain about which it was going to be. But yeah, Cody escapes, but he does say some stuff that made me more inclined to think that he was the killer.
Oh my god.
So when you're interrogating this child for breaking into a movie theater, one of the things he says is, he yells this, by the way, he says, "The Steel Samurai always wins." And I thought about that, and I thought about the fact that the person who was dead was the evil magistrate. And I was like, okay, so Cody, as a fanboy, like, knew that on the next episode, the Steel Samurai actually loses. And so he corrects that by breaking into this place and killing a guy.
Holy shit.
That would be cool as fuck.
That would be cool. People underestimate how capable children are of murder all the time.
I will correct that assumption and never underestimate children's ways ever again.
Walking past every child on the street with
Screaming.
suspicious eyes.
Oh, yeah, all that.
Screaming, running away. But yeah, because Cody ran across the parking lot, it distracts Old Bag's security guard, which allows us to sneak into her guard station and steal some more. We steal the keys for Studio 2, the place where allegedly the director and the producer were hanging out during the time of the murder.
This old lady is so easy to steal from.
She is a terrible security guard.
She's a terrible security guard.
Oh yeah, one thing that we didn't mention is while she was in jail, Penny had to do her job,
Yeah.
which is so bad. You can't just put that on 18-year-old to be the security guard for a movie studio for even just a morning.
Well, there's nothing in there, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's not like a murder happened or anything.
They do mention, like, the night the body was found, that the gates were crowded, like, with paparazzi if you examine the gate. But you don't see anyone here.
Yeah.
They got bored. They're moving on to the next big thing.
Well, they do talk about the fact that there are cops all over the place when you're there that day.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So
They're really stealthy.
Yeah. That would be amazing if there were just, like, hidden cops in all of the static background art that you could find and click on for points. Ah, you found me. See if you can find my 5 brothers.
That'd be some real point-and-click adventure stuff, which we spend most of this investigation doing.
Yeah, for real.
Because when we go to Studio 2, we meet Dee Vasquez for the first time, and she's just like, give me a script.
Yeah, so Dee Vasquez, well, we should talk about her a bit, I feel like. So she's a character. So we've had some characters, and she's a character. So this character is Dee Vasquez, and her entire vibe is like, you know, like noir film madame.
Yeah.
With like the head wrap and the long gay cigarettes. and like wearing like a bodice with like the long gloves that go up to your elbows and that sort of thing. She's very much like someone who does not exist in real life unless it's the 1940s or whatever. She looks like an emo flapper girl.
Yeah.
And I actually think her design kind of kicks ass, because there is something about her where you take a look at characters like Mai, who were like characters like Maya, who were like overtly sexualized because of like big boobage cleavage and stuff like that. And then you look at a character like this who feels like a lot more intentionally designed to be not titillating, but just like aesthetically pleasing.
Mm.
And I just feel like it works so much better. Now, the only problem with her is that she's very mean.
I don't see why this is a problem.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll get into that as well.
I was actually, we were having like a co-working day while I was playing this, and like they looked at the screen and saw her and was like, is she an assassin? And I was like, sure. Well, why not?
Kinda.
Basically. And they were just like, cool. And I was like, great.
Yeah, like the way she talks, I know what they were trying to go for, but because it's like a text game, she often drops just like single words as an entire block of dialogue. And I know I'm supposed to interpret that as she's like, no nonsense, don't waste my time, I don't even want to talk to you unless you're worth something to me. But to me it just sounded like she was like someone who'd been crawling through the desert for hours and really needed to drink and was just like, oh, my script. I can't read my script. That's the vibe it gave off for me.
Her like cigarillo thing is just like totally taken it out of her. She just can't.
She has the exact same voice of She just talks like, oh, these fucking kids running around my movie studio.
She wants a script, and the thing about it is that she's like, take this note to Sal to ask for my script. And I was like, I know where the script is. I say I. The guy in the walkthrough in the video that I was watching also knew where the script was. Tried to go and pick it up, and it doesn't work unless you give Sal the script first.
Yeah.
Which is very funny. And then even when you do get Dee to talk to you, she's just like, well, we were trapped in here by the big monkey head, so good luck.
I think that's a bullshit excuse, by the way. Like, it's trees. You can go around the trees.
Oh, it's so funny. Like, I don't know if you guys felt this, but like, I didn't feel like in other cases, I felt like there was like an invisible wall of just like, you know, in games where you like hit the edge of the map, like, but in this case specifically, I have always felt like that wall of trees is the edge of the map, and like, no one's allowed to think about it. No one's allowed to reference it. We don't think about the trees.
Do.
It's dead space. I know! It's so insane!
It's fucked. Because they're talking about it like the walkway, the footpath was blocked by the head of this monkey falling over and wasn't moved for a couple hours. So no one from the trailer could have been at the murder scene when it took place. A kid sneaks into the studio through the forest.
Yeah.
That surrounds the studio.
It doesn't make
And
any
you're
fucking
telling me
sense.
that no one could climb over a ceramic monkey head for hours?
I feel like you get like a picture of the blockage, and I don't think it holds up to scrutiny. It's
No.
It really
like,
doesn't.
duck under
No.
some of that, no problem.
It looks like a path that's intentionally designed for you to platform over, because there's like a log from the fallen
Yeah.
tree that like reaches out over it.
It's maybe like the knee-high fences that you come across in like Resident Evil 4 that you can't get over for some reason, even though you're like
Yeah.
a super action hero.
Or like any video game that has a rope fence as a barrier, and I just look at that and I'm just like, the rules of this universe have dictated that I cannot step further beyond these boundaries. If this were real life, I would abide by those rules just the same, but I want the freedom that a video game allows, please.
Well, Phoenix is clearly convinced by this because he's like, well, fuck, we're screwed. And
Well,
then
wait,
Mia shows
they-
up and is like, for God's sake.
Is this where they talk about the hidden mechanism inside the statue?
Oh my god, that!
clock.
Ugh. I don't think
We
it
got
is, 'cause
another
I did
fucked
write a
up
note
clock,
about that.
baby.
But yeah, let's talk about that, because that's so funny. Because it's never relevant, is it?
No, it's only relevant
it's-
in this moment when they're talking about alibis.
Yeah, so their alibi was that all of this happened at a specific time, and because of the time it happened, they couldn't have been at the murder scene. And they know the time because the big monkey statue was actually a clock that ooks on the hour every hour. And you look inside the broken mechanism and you can see what time it all happened. Which
Which was
also,
at
like...
2:15.
Yeah, 2:15, which also compounded my theory of like, oh, someone intentionally broke that statue in order to have a good alibi. Because if someone fabricated that or like adjusted the time on the clock, it would be so easy to use that to reinforce your alibi. But also, it's just insane that this monkey was a clock, and everyone on the studio also doesn't like that it's a clock, but it's there because some running gag with this series is that no normal clocks exist in this universe.
No, it's not possible.
Yeah. And from here you're like, well, fuck, we don't have anything. Let's go back to the office. And Mia shows up
Yeah, here we go again with this weird shit.
and kind of just holds your hand for the next, like, the rest of the day's investigation and also the proceedings the next day. Which is funny. She's so competent. She doesn't even need Phoenix there. She can just go do it, I think. And write some notes.
Literally, like, I know I keep joking about the like position of Mia as like the Freudian mother figure, but her entire existence as being like this person that Phoenix needs to rely on as like this confident individual who like solves all his problems is like so dumb, and I don't like it. Like,
Yeah.
I like Mia as like a personality well enough, but it feels like it cheapens the experience when this is something that could not be solved without her, even though she is literally actually really real life for real dead.
Yeah. But she helps us out. She helps us out with Cody.
Yeah,
He
again,
seems to like her.
like mother figure, really good at talking to children. Is the only person that Cody is willing to talk to because she's the only person who knows how to be nice to kids. Cody is really into Yu-Gi-Oh, so you have to get him a prismatic ultra rare in order to get more information out of him, and he's a super heavy samurai duelist, so you need to find like a good ultra rare card to trade for him. And you get no like inclination as to who's gonna have this card he wants, but it can literally only be two people. Adam, who did you think it was gonna be at first who had the card?
I don't remember who was active like in the scenes in this thing, but I'm pretty sure that Penny was the only person I could find at this point in the game. And I was like, well,
So
it's gonna
did you
be
like
her.
have a look around already and talk to people?
Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't. I like went straight to Cody. Because I thought that it was going to be the director because he's a nerd. And I was so glad that it was Penny. She has like a little custom animation for when you want to trade cards with her, where she sticks out like her collection of cards in her hand, like she's showing you that she just got a royal flush, and it's so cute.
It's so cute.
It's very, very good. So you're able to trade the. It's okay. Backtracking a little bit, Cody dropped this card while he was being chased by the security guard. and the idea that Mia posits is that you're going to use it to like barter with him. That you can give it back to him in exchange for information, but he doesn't care because he's got doubles. Because like doubles is safe, but everyone knows that triples is safest. So he says you'll need to find me a shiny. Was it a shiny ultra rare or like a prismatic ultra rare? I don't remember.
It's an ultra rare premium card because it kept getting like
Premium
shortened to up, which really made me laugh. Up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the card you find is an ultra rare, and this is an ultra rare premium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Penny trades you the ultra rare because she's just collecting a set, whereas Cody is just collecting ultra rare premiums. So then you do that trade, and then you go back to Cody, and then finally he starts telling you useful information about what is actually going on.
Well, wait, hold on. This isn't the first card trade that you make. You have to trade a card for the ultra rare card from Old Bag.
Yeah, you give her the key card to Studio One so she can go and pay her respects, right?
Yeah, that was an interesting exchange. Like, she's the security guard and she can't get into the studio. That's something.
Is there only one key card?
I mean, they really put a lot of emphasis on how rare and exclusive these key cards are.
Ultra rare premium key card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to trade with people. It's all about team cohesion.
Oh yeah, and then also Penny makes like a passing comment about the fact that Maya doesn't look like Maya anymore, and
yeah,
and her and Mia and Phoenix are just like, what are you talking about? She's always looked like a 30-something-year-old girl with her boobs out. What do you mean? Are you okay? What?
Fucked up.
Oh yeah, she also, this I think you start hearing about the rumors of what happened to Jack Hammer, the guy who died. And I really didn't understand what was going on at first, because Penny was like, oh, you don't know about what happened to Jack? And I was like, what do you mean? He died? Yeah, I know what happened. I'm investigating it. But no, it's something else apparently.
Yeah, they mentioned an incident that happened that changed the trajectory of his career from being a star to being someone who only plays villains, basically. But they won't tell you what. And we kind of just brush over it, honestly.
There are so many instances where you think you're going to get given a bit of information and then someone's just like, sorry, I'm not allowed to tell you. A guy like, hey guys, someone died. This is kind of more important than your friggin' NDRs or whatever. NDAs.
Well, this is why we need to speak to someone who is going to be a real lead, who knows what's up. And that is 7-year-old superfan, Cody. What's Cody's second name? Is like Hackins?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what does Cody say?
Cody says, I have photo evidence every time Steel Samurai has prevailed against the evil magistrate.
Yeah. And I just saw it yesterday.
And he has
I
a
saw him kill that guy.
Yeah.
And Gumshoe's like, I heard that. I think you should probably testify in court.
But not before he gives you a scrapbook full of all the photos, because he likes Mia.
Yeah.
So I've only ever seen that scrapbook in like low res version, and seeing it in HD and the little fucking drawing on the front. Holy shit, the cutest thing I ever saw in my life. There's just like a little scribbly drawing of the Steel Samurai's face, and it's so cute, and they just didn't need to do that, but they did, and I really fucking like it. Cody also says during your conversation with him, where like, you talk about, you're trying to get on his good side, and to do that, Phoenix has to say something good about the Steel Samurai, and he kind of says like, oh, I like his kind nature. And he's like, yeah, like, people think that he's scary, but you're judging him by his looks. You have to look at his actions, at his life. And I'm like, holy shit, everyone else in this entire game is so judgmental and awful. And this child is just like, no, you're all wrong. Here's what you gotta do. And it's just an accidental theme of the case. And I love that.
See, that's funny, as you said that, but I said I like his cool fights. But he says the same thing in response to that.
Oh, that's so weird.
He's like, tell me another thing you like about Steel Samurai.
Oh, yeah, I think I pressed the wrong thing. I wasn't supposed to click that. I think I was meant to... Because he mentions the finishing move, like the samurai slice or whatever it is. And that comes up later in the trial. I think, maybe.
Yeah, it does. Kind of.
Very, very vaguely.
So yeah, this kid saw his favorite childhood superhero kill a guy in real life.
Ooh.
Woo!
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about
Hey,
it.
what was the age rating of this game again?
T15.
Okay.
Contains a dead guy.
You
and
see a
smoke.
guy
You see that
with a
samurai
hole in
with a
his
hole in his
chest?
chest, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
and the
fine. There was
horrible
no blood.
eyes staring out. Ugh,
There was no
creepy.
blood, so it's fine.
I don't know, I feel like if we see another, like, gruesome murder scene in this case, it might just push me over the edge.
We just don't think really gonna do it.
Can I mention a couple of really stupid bits of flavor text that made me laugh?
Absolutely.
Please.
So one of them, and I do not remember this, and I'm sure I've read it before, but like it may as well be new, was maybe it's just this one actually. Yeah, no, it's just this one. If you oh my god, if you inspect the vending machine in the employee area, there's a can of spaghetti, and it's
What?
Huh?
there's
I
a
didn't
can
get
of
that.
spaghetti with sauce, and Phoenix is like, what? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, if you tried to consume that, you would just drink the sauce, or the spaghetti would like get stuck inside. And then it says best enjoyed by like slamming it. It's just horrific. Absolutely
I expected that
awful.
machine every day, and I never got that. I just got stuff about samurai soda.
It's when you're with Mia, so I don't know if that's specifically like Mia content. I don't know. Fucking weird. Fucking
That
spaghetti
is
in a can. Yeah, that was it. The other thing was the samurai scrapbook that I already mentioned. So, oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
slamming
yeah.
spaghetti.
So
I
it's
can.
time for trial number 2. But before you jump into
We
that,
don't have shit.
yeah, before you jump into
Yeah.
that, Mia does have to break it down for you and be like, "Hey, Phoenix, things aren't looking great." I feel like this happens every day in this case. Is there's a point where Phoenix has to be a little bit introspective and just think to himself, "Oh man, I'm really fucked." And a lot of the times when he thinks this, he also says it out loud to the person that
Yeah.
he's defending in court.
Yeah, he do that.
But yeah, so Mia asks you if you believe that Will Powers, the person accused of murder, is innocent. And I personally said, I don't know, because realistically, his alibi is only as watertight as literally everyone else's. So it's more just like, well, like, he just as easily could be as he couldn't be. I believe that he probably isn't the killer, but I don't know if I believe that he wasn't complicit in anything. And Mia's just like, fucking toughen up then. It's gonna get real in that courtroom, Phoenix. You better be ready for this.
She also delivers a fucking stone cold line during this where she's like, you know, everything's fucked, and if we lose, like, this man is basically gonna die, and that's why I feel so close to him right now. And Phoenix is like,
because she's dead as well. It's fucked.
And then
He's standing right there.
he's
while she
standing
says
right
that.
there. Like, what is wrong with these people? And Phoenix is like, this is no time for dead people jokes. Oh, fucking hell, it's a whole thing. Like,
says Phoenix, the person who constantly talks about how bad he's fucking up. And need I remind everyone that we have confirmed the fact that there is a death penalty if you get charged with murder.
yeah, it's fucking rough out here.
Don't worry about it.
This is what it's like in the future of California.
The bold future of 2016.
So this is the first person to go on trial is Salmonella. And once again, Edgeworth just sort of crumples when interacting with any of these people because he just doesn't know how to deal with anything. Like, every single person he's interacted with has just, like, he just can't understand how to talk to these people at all. He's so tight-knit and buttoned up that every time someone is a little bit eccentric to him, he just collapses.
Fair. Relatable.
That's true. This whole testimony is about whether or not he ate a steak.
This one's really contentious for me because the whole question is, could you eat a steak in 15 minutes?
I absolutely could eat
I've-
a steak in 15 minutes. I could eat a
I
steak
don't know
in
if I've
5
ever eaten a
minutes.
steak in more than 15 minutes.
I distinctly remember having this exact conversation with Diego. I think this case really it's not even that it's a question, it's just like everyone's like, oh, it's fucked up, like it's just impossible that you could have done that. It's just an assumption made by the game.
In 5 minutes.
And everyone I've ever talked to about it is like, what the fuck are they talking about?
What's even weirder is this does not come up when you're questioning D. Like, you're like, okay, this guy maybe ate a steak in 15 minutes, but you never ever question it around D. Like,
She could eat a steak
like,
in 15
yeah,
minutes.
Yeah, she's
she
a
did that,
champion
no
champion.
problem, no question.
No doubt about it. Well, no, you do question her about the steaks because you do accuse her of instead of eating the steaks, throwing them directly into the incinerator.
Oh yeah, but no one's ever like, she couldn't have eaten a T-bone steak in 15 minutes. It's that she didn't eat the steak at all.
What do we actually learn from Salmonella's testimony? Like, I can't remember any of this. I'm not gonna lie, and I literally played it like, the last 2 days.
You learned that there was a break during the meeting with the quote-unquote bigwigs.
Oh, yeah.
Who I believe we meet later. That took place between, I believe, 2:15 and 2:30?
Right, yeah.
Or 2:30 to 2:45, something like that. 2:30 was the moment of death for Hammers. And also we know that the statue was blown down at 2:15. So we have a timeline here, and we're sort of establishing here that there was a break around the time of the murder, but there's no way they could have done it because of the statue being in the way. So then we dismiss Sal and call up Cody to the stand.
This is it. This is where everything comes to light. The best part about this, about how it starts, is that Edgeworth immediately states to the court that he's worried about how mean Phoenix is going to be to him, and then immediately yells at the kid.
Yeah.
Oops.
The best part is actually that Cody is not tall enough to see over the witness stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So cute.
That's fun. He's just a little guy.
And they have to get what I believe they say is an empty donut crate for him to stand
A
on.
crate of donuts. There is an obsession with not only steak but donuts this episode.
Well, we're in America, and it's important to reinforce those cultural values.
Oh, what do you think the crate would have been in the original?
That's not for me to speculate on.
What if it wasn't a food thing at all? What if it was just a crate they had lying around?
Yeah, maybe.
Crazy how nature make that.
But we're set up with the case of tearing apart this child's testimony,
Which we do violently.
Yeah.
A lot of it hinges on what Cody saw and what actions he took when he saw it. So it confirmed that he was witness to what happened. Or not even the murder itself. Oh, no, it would have been the murder itself, but his details on everything is so vague that it's difficult to understand what he saw, and this is the bit that you have to pick apart by constantly telling this child that he's lying. Which is a crime, and this is a death penalty state, so
Whoa.
Yeah.
There's a bit in this where Phoenix is like, no one should ever lie in court, whether you're a child or a prosecuting attorney, and it's like, get his ass.
that's really good.
There's some more timeline stuff here that Cody arrives on the movie studio premises at 2:00. This is before the statue is blown down, and then he gets lost in the woods around where the studios are for 30 minutes.
Oops.
I don't think a kid could accurately comprehend how long 30 minutes is.
It's a long time to be lost in the woods.
But this is important because it sets up the fact that Cody doesn't really know where he is when he witnesses the murder taking place.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jay, what were you going to say?
Well, just on the theme of Phoenix tearing Edgeworth to pieces, when they're talking about the camera, the judge is like, wait a minute, is he supposed to have this in here? And Edgeworth's like,
Yeah.
he wouldn't let go of it, and he wouldn't testify if I didn't let him hold it. And Phoenix says, you're saying you had to bargain terms with a kid and you lost?
Edgeworth truly a shadow of his former self. Yeah.
He's not having a great day. He spent too much time moodily staring out of the window.
Yeah.
Crushing paper cups with his bare hands.
Oh my
when
god.
When does Gumshoe talk about that? Because that's not
It's the next
at the same
day,
time.
I think.
It's the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of the police officers are actually torn about whether to continue the case with
Right,
Will
yeah.
or with D.
It's almost like we're affecting like some kind of real change in the world by being a good defense attorney.
Crazy.
Wow.
If you just
Maybe
show up
it's
to your
just
job
inside.
and get it right, you'll change the world.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I'm
I should
always saying
try
this
hard
every
at
time I
work.
go into work.
So throughout the questioning with Cody, we discerned that the reason Cody didn't see what was happening is because he was fiddling with this brand new camera that the judge is completely mystified by. Then it's discovered that Cody deleted the photos that he took, and the reason that he did that was because it was the Steel Samurai who lost the encounter.
Unbelievable.
And what's Cody's famous catchphrase?
What is Cody's famous catchphrase?
This Cody's famous catchphrase that he loves to say every time you see him is the Steel Samurai always wins all of the fights that he does.
So
Sure.
true.
That's what he says verbatim every time you see Cody.
Yeah.
Every single fight the Steel Samurai has ever done, he's won it, and he hasn't lost it any of the fights.
And so we tear this kid's testimony apart, we make him cry.
We do
Um,
make
Yeah,
him
we
cry.
do
I
really
feel like
cry.
we need to
Do make
backtrack
him
for a
cry.
second, because, like, holy shit. There's a bit, just before he starts crying, where Phoenix is like, welcome to the real world, kid.
Yeah!
7! He's 7 years old!
He's 7-year-old and he witnessed a murder. And like Edgeworth says, now hold on, let me be clear. In his testimony, he did specify that he didn't realize that this was a murder. I think he knows now. I think he's got the gist now, Edgeworth.
Oh, fucking hell.
And like, skipping forward, the nature of this murder is more gruesome than it is implied here.
Yeah. Jesus.
It's messed up.
Yeah, if I saw that shit as a kid, I would also be messed up. I would cry.
Yeah.
I would cry in court. I'm not ashamed.
Anyway, this kid kept one of the photos that he gives to us, which reveals that the murder took place on Studio Lot 2 and not Studio Lot 1, as we previously assumed.
That means the only people who could have done it are the people who have been trapped in there by the big head.
Mm-hmm. This is big news to Edgeworth, who is completely taken aback by this.
Oh, bless him.
Sucks
Yeah.
to be him.
What a turnabout.
That's what they say.
What a
What a
sound.
turnabout.
What a turnabout, Samurai. My favorite line from the video game Cyberpunk.
And that's it for the day. Judge gives us some homework.
He keeps doing this.
That's a lot of homework.
Uh.
Says Phoenix
I'm so
Wright.
fed up
Phoenix
with
Wright,
homework.
lawyer.
Yeah, also the homework is Phoenix. You need to find out who did the murder. Like, thanks, boss. You got it.
Yeah. Isn't there like a police force that's supposed to do that? Save us all some fucking time?
Notably, Edgeworth's homework was just like, hey, do some self-reflection.
Yeah. Edgeworth, take it easy today.
Really think on what you're
going
doing
through
here
some
today.
stuff. Yeah. But one other thing that happens in the court case that I can't stop thinking about is when you get Cody on the ropes and he starts like spilling the beans. Phoenix says verbatim, "Testify, witness, testify." Dance, my puppet. He is so eager to be like manipulating this child with mind games. It's hilarious how much of a win this is for him.
He's such a horrible man.
I know.
He
Oh yeah, and
really
also this is the trial where the judge says a lot of stuff that I really like, because at one of the points of where you're trying to press evidence and you do an objection, you get everyone all excited, and then the judge is just like, "Can someone explain what's going on so I can be excited too?"
Yeah, Yeah, he's really on top of it and definitely should be in charge of what's going on here.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the bearded gentleman.
Oh, didn't you write, like, I wish there was a plushie of him? Didn't you see the keychain that I shared
So
recently?
fucking great.
I don't think I did.
Oh, it's
The
incredible.
new Ace Attorney merch they just dropped, which includes a keychain of the judge's head.
Yeah, I'll post it. I'll post it in our voice channel. There it is.
Oh my god!
It's absolutely perfect.
That's great.
This is the fan full production keychain of the judge from Ace
Fanful?
Attorney.
Fanful.
A
That's
real
not
mouthful.
good syntax. Fanful.
Fanful.
Yeah.
Don't love
I'm
it.
not going to spell it. I think we got it across.
Final day of investigation.
Oh, this opens with something great.
What's that?
First thing you do is go to the detention center, and then Maya, who is now Maya again, talks to Will Powers in the detention center where he is, and says, "Hey, WP, only 1 day left. Best make the most of it."
Yeah.
Oh god.
You're not getting out of this one alive, buddy.
I want to draw attention to something here, which I think we spoke about last episode, but Maya is not conscious of what happened during the summoning of Mia.
Yeah.
She does not know what happened during the second half of yesterday, which I feel like someone should have maybe caught her up on that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
That's
it.
fine.
Nothing important happened.
Don't worry about it. Alright, so we're back on set. Gumshoe's here.
My man.
Gumshoe says, after that trial, Edgeworth was very upset. He did something really normal about it.
Oh, what is the exact line he says?
I don't know, I just wrote, he crushed his paper cup. Which is basically...
Which was
Full of
filled with
hot
hot coffee. He literally fucking burnt himself.
Gives himself second-degree burns and sheer vitriol at the fact that he fucked up yet again.
He's having a great time.
He's having a great time, and I feel like the conversation that you have with Gumshoe here is like one of the little wins you get where he seems like he's actually being a useful detective because you get 2 new pieces of evidence from talking to him. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but it's good that he's helping instead of being obnoxious about how much better he's doing than you are.
He checks the food for evidence of sleeping pills.
Yeah. And he gives you the bottle that's confirmed to have the fingerprints.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember when we discerned this in the courtroom, but we deduced that it was Jack Hamill wearing the costume who had drugged Will Powers so that he would be asleep, and took his costume to talk to the executives. Was this today, or is this the next day?
We find out some of that in court and we kind of get it clarified by the investigation.
Right. Yeah. So one of the pieces of evidence is the food, which has been confirmed to have been drugged, and I don't know what the other one is.
Oh, the other one was it's the
It's the bottle that has the fingerprints. Yeah.
So we know that he was drugged and we know that it was Hammer who did it. And the main thing that we find out like during this investigation properly is about what happened 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
interesting. So, the old lady gives a heartfelt speech about just how tired she is of holding it all in, all of the secrets and the lies and the deceit. And it does make me feel for her a little bit, because what she reveals is kind of traumatic. And it's that Jack Hammer killed a guy 5 years ago by accident. He was recreating a stunt. They were doing some practice, and he pushed a guy over the railing of some stairs, and he landed and got impaled on a fence.
Ouch.
Ouch! And, you know what's also pretty fucked up? They did not get rid of that fence.
Yeah.
Fence is
fucking
still
hell.
I
there.
love my safe workplace.
Still also has one of the spikes of the fence dented from where a guy fell on it and died.
Well, surely it won't happen again.
Surely it won't happen again. Surely this incident has not left its mark on the people that work in this industry. Yeah, so a guy died from that, and that's the big secret that everyone is talking about.
Yeah, and after that, Divaska started blackmailing Jack Hammer into having terrible parts.
Yeah. Damn. Well, we better go confront her about this.
That seems like a really good
Right,
idea.
that'll go great.
And we should
Yeah,
show
I'm sure this will
our
go well.
decisive evidence as well, because that worked really well last time we did that.
Guys,
We
remember,
gotta keep our hand close to our chest.
remember in the last episode where we confronted, like, the megalomaniacal billionaire? And
Yeah,
he was
and it
like...
went great.
And he was... It did go great, Jay. It did go great. And he was like, you'll never defeat me, Mr. Lawyer. I own all the police.
Mm.
So, something quite similar happens here.
Yeah. Except
I-
it goes worse.
I think
And he
she's
takes a
smarter
child
about it,
with
though.
him as well.
She is smarter about it, but it still ultimately leads to absolutely nothing.
Because instead of being like, yeah, I'll see you in court, she says, I'm going to kill you.
I love her.
Yeah,
She's
she's
so
she's
iconic.
cool.
And her Matthew friends turn up, which are heavily implied to be the bigwig studio employees that they keep mentioning.
They're also heavily implied to have guns.
Yeah.
Luckily, Gumshoe shows up out of nowhere, and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Gumshoe
damn.
bursts through the door. He does some like Yakuza like shit. He
Yeah.
like
He
takes on
activates
these
his heat
four
gauge.
guys. Yeah.
It's wild because it was like 5 people, 4 of whom are incredibly bulky mafioso who are suggested to be armed, and they're like, oh yeah, we could definitely beat up this 24-year-old lawyer and this teenage girl. But as soon as Gumshoe shows up, it's like, oh man, we can't beat up this 24-year-old lawyer, this teenage girl, and this one other guy who's here. We'd be so screwed.
Here's what you don't understand. Gumshoe is huge.
Gumshoe
so big.
is big.
He's shredded.
And the trench coat is also full of guns and knives.
Yeah. Under that trench coat is nothing but pure rippling muscle.
He takes his trench coat off and he's just a slab of meat underneath the exact same
Yeah.
shape. That's something that'll haunt me.
You said it.
Anyway.
But yeah, also I thought the mobsters looked sort of like the Italian version of the Matrix.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was the sunglasses that made the difference for me.
Also, I think it's worth noting that Gumshoe was like, sorry I didn't come in sooner. I haven't done this sort of thing before. And he kind of says he wanted to make it look good, like a good entrance or something. Like,
Yeah.
Gumshoe, don't do that. Like, what the fuck are you doing, my guy?
That's such a cop thing.
Fucking ACAB, you know? I love Gumshoe, but ACAB.
Real.
And so Dee is like, all right, you win. I'll see you in court.
And then you do.
And then you do.
Then you do.
Next day, let's go.
The final trial has begun.
Whew. Day 3.
Round 3. Heaven or hell.
It's
Let's prosecute.
it's all or nothing. We only have 3 days to take this case up because tomorrow we got to start a shoplifting case, which is also going to last 3 days because all crimes are equal in this world.
And that is just.
Yeah.
Everything is given the exact same weight, and there is no problems with this system whatsoever.
There's a weird part at the start of this case where not this case, this third day in court, where Edgeworth seems to start reading Phoenix's mind.
Wonder why.
What's wrong with that?
Just normal rival behavior, right?
It's completely normal.
They're becoming drift compatible.
They really are. By the end
Becoming?
of this case, they are fully drift compatible. So the first cross-examination you get to do is great because she gives her alibi, and every time you press for more information, you slam your desk, Edgeworth slams his desk, and Vasquez gets very upset that everyone is slamming their desks.
So
to which
good.
Edgeworth responds by slapping his desk again. Children, all of them.
So right.
Is this the food contradiction? This one was a bit of a thinker for me.
Really? Oh, I
Yeah, but
crushed this.
it's weird that you have to contradict it with someone else's plate of food. Basically, that's
yeah,
why
I
got
understand.
Yeah,
That. I was
yeah.
slightly doubtful about that as well.
because I picked up on the bones not being on the plates like literally as soon as I saw them on day 2.
Mhm.
But I just wasn't sure where exactly the contradiction was here. But I got an in one. It just took me a little bit to ruminate on it.
I love that you can accuse her of so you get her with that and you're like, you didn't eat steak that day, did you? And you can follow up by saying, oh, you must have eaten the bones.
It's heavy as hell. Love it.
Really funny. But no, she just threw the steaks wholesale into the incinerator that they have on the second stage and drove off to kill someone.
Yeah, she reveals that they use a van to get from Studio 2 to Studio 1, which kind of gives the game away a lot about. She should have kept her mouth shut. For someone who doesn't talk a lot, she should have kept her mouth shut.
Shut the fuck up, Friday.
Which is then where you're like, okay, she must have used that to move the body.
Yeah. But the entire time that this whole thing is going on, it's like a very strangely presented case because there's multiple instances where she just like has complete control of the conversation, not only between like you and her, but between like everyone in the court.
Mhm.
There are multiple instances where she just makes everyone stop talking and it's just dead silence, and I'm just like, what are we doing? What's going on here? Because everything she says is delivered with such blunt intensity that there's no room for ambiguity. So it's like, okay, we've either got to get her in a contradiction or we just have to wait until someone else talks, I guess.
Yeah. And she does contradict herself again, but it's not us who catch it.
Yeah.
It's Edgeworth.
Well, isn't that after the time where she's like, okay, yeah, you've said that it could have been me, but what's your evidence?
Mhm.
And Phoenix is like, I don't have any. And they're like, well, I guess we're done here then, because that's how this should work.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then Edgeworth's like, no, I want another testimony. And the judge is like, about what? And he's like,
He's clearly playing for time.
And both Vasquez and the judge are like, aren't you supposed to be the prosecutor? And Phoenix and Maya are like, what is he doing? And everyone is like very confused by this.
It's clear to me that Edgeworth cares about justice just as much as we do. In the last case, it was a bit rough. He was being blackmailed. But this time around, he wants the same thing we do.
And that's to win.
Wait.
No.
No,
Well,
no.
that's what I want. But he wants the truth.
I feel like this game is like one or two steps removed from turning the entire legal system into like a 1770, 70, 76 style sports game.
Mm.
Can you say more about this?
So, like, think about it like this. There are 3 trials that take place over any court case. Those trials are essentially the rounds of the match.
Yeah.
Within each round, there is a clear winner and a clear loser. And the tactics that are employed include mind games, deceit, dropping evidence at the last minute. These are like advanced tactics and strategies that you see in games with the complexity of, say, chess or baccarat or something like that. Being able to do this in a tight time frame with an audience with these loud personalities, this is a sport at this point.
You're so right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why we're all here.
That's why we're all here today.
I love sports anime.
I want to see this
But
taken
Edgeworth is
to an
throwing.
extreme where there are like, you know, sports teams for different prosecutors and defense attorneys.
Yeah. So Edgeworth catches this contradiction. He's fully on our side now. Hell yes.
Hell yes.
But the judge isn't quite convinced yet, and suddenly, for the first time in this game, he cares about motive.
Oh yeah.
And so we're asked if we have evidence of Dee's motive or not.
We don't.
We don't. But that's okay.
Did you guys all go for we don't? Because I knew to go for we don't.
I did go for we don't, yeah.
Nice. Because that felt like such a trap to say we do. Because I was so convinced that this entire thing was like, as soon as the 5 years ago shit dropped, I was so convinced that what happened on the day of the murder was manslaughter. And I was going to like take that with me to the grave. I knew this was going to be where it ended up.
I did not know that at this point. I simply knew that I did not have enough to nail this. But they had been playing with these like binary choices of do you or do you not have evidence for this for a while.
And you don't tend to lose points on these choices if you get them wrong anyway, which I appreciate.
And so we discover, we deduce that there was no motive. It was self-defense. Jack was planning to be the murderer who turned up to basically break free of Dee's control and kill her. I don't know how he planned to get away with it. Oh, wait, we know how he planned to get away with it. He was going to frame Will Powers.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
And it almost worked anyway because people thought the Will had done it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess maybe Dee got the idea from Jack.
Kind of fucked up that she did that though. I wasn't just like, oh, hey, an accident happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's my question: is do you still get executed if it was self-defense?
Great question that I think you should keep in your back pocket.
Uh-oh.
Hmm.
So there was a confrontation. He was pushed over the railing of the stairs of this trailer, and he landed on the same fence post that the victim from 5 years ago landed on.
Do you think they're gonna replace it this time?
Nah, probably not.
Again, I do want to draw attention to the fact that a child witnessed this.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah.
And you see, like, the image of it happening as well. It's not nice.
Mm.
Like, you've got the
It's
photo
not-
from 5
it's
years
not
ago,
nice.
and then also the updated version with the steel samurai. Like,
We should
ugh.
clarify, the child didn't see the incident live because he was busy fucking around with his camera. So he did,
He
like,
says-
he saw an altercation, he looked at his camera, and then he looked up and saw his childhood hero impaled on spikes.
Yeah, I think that's still pretty
I
bad.
thought he said that he saw the samurai fall down and not move.
I think it's really unclear because in that testimony that he gives, first we say that he didn't see anything because he was messing with his camera, and then we realize that he actually had pictures of it and he deleted them and because he was upset about it. And I don't know whether the second one is supposed to override the first one.
Yeah, I always got the sense that
Right.
he kind
Yeah,
of
that's true.
lied because he didn't want to admit that he had a picture.
Right.
So then he needed to, like, not have seen anything. I don't know.
That's what I thought as well. But it's not actually... I don't think it's actually explicit one way or the other.
And that's it. You win. There's no, like... The end of this case is not drawn out like the last one.
She concedes.
She concedes, and
They
you
throw
win.
confetti over
throw
this
confetti.
extremely dire situation.
Again,
that just
another
happened.
situation where someone with a lot of ties to criminal organizations and the legal system does absolutely nothing with that power and just willingly goes to jail to die.
Yeah. And then we get a little scene outside the courtroom after this. Where
So
we
true.
talk to Cody, right? Oh, we talk to Will first.
Yeah, a funny conversation that you have there where you congratulate him on his life being saved and then commiserate him on his career being ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you choose to remind him that his colleague was going to frame him for murder. Why did we do this? I don't know. Wasn't to make him feel better.
Oh, well, you say that Jack's motive was that all the children in the world loved Will.
Yeah.
Would that make you feel better? Because I'd be like, great. Also, I just lost my job though, so I can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Except
Yeah.
good news, he didn't. His job's fine.
Hey.
Yeah, he gets to be the Pink Princess now.
Oh, yeah.
Is he the Pink Princess, or is the Pink Princess like
He
another
is the Pink
character in the
Princess.
Steel Samurai
I
saga?
believe they say at the end that
They say he is the main
one in the
character,
Pink
yeah.
Princess
Mm-hmm.
I see. Okay.
costume because they have a mask and he's like, it's great because no one has to see my
Oh.
face because I guess it's scary for some
Everyone
fucking
calls this
reason.
guy
He is not
ugly. I
an
don't
ugly
get it.
guy.
I don't get it either.
This poor man.
He looks kind of like a
Reinhardt.
He
Or
looks
like
like,
a- like a-
Wolverine.
That's what my friend said.
or like a Evakeen from Hunter x Hunter.
Oh my god, he does
Yeah,
look kind of
all
like
of the
Eva.
above.
Wait, I said he looked like a Guilty Gear character, and it's bothering me that I can't remember what character it is. This is gonna take a second. Hold on. Leo Whitefang.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like Leo Whitefang. He literally looks very, very similar to Leo Whitefang.
And after this, Edgeworth approaches, respectfully says, "Will Powers, I'm a big fan of your work."
I love that. Like, I don't care
You
if
kind of
Phoenix
gloss
thinks he's
over
lying.
this. Yeah.
I think that was earnest. I think Edgeworth loves the Steel Samurai.
Edgeworth confirmed huge Steel Samurai fan. And then he wants to cover the next thing that he says.
I'll take the reins on that one because I did write the full sentence down. So Edgeworth addresses Phoenix directly and very sternly. He is not good at small talk, so asks Phoenix to take the reins, which ends up with him gloating, which is very funny. But it eventually culminates in Edgeworth saying, I wish I hadn't met you again after all these years. Now I'm saddled with all these unnecessary feelings.
No one thinks to say.
Noticed in the notes there's a lot of gay readings into this.
Really?
Yeah,
So weird.
What's
Kinda-
your opinion?
It reminded me of that one scene in Always Sunny in Philadelphia where Dennis is like, I felt like I'm having feelings again. You remember what those are like, right? I'm like a teenager. To which Mac replies, you don't have feelings? And that's what that reminded me of.
Well, doesn't Phoenix say, Idris says like, oh, it's doubt and like whatever else, and Phoenix is like, aren't those kind of necessary?
Yeah. It's very
So
similar.
good.
So that is really the reading, but also it is also extremely gay.
Unease and uncertainty.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, I think it's really cool that Phoenix says, aren't those kind of necessary? Like, that's a good,
It's
healthy
true.
thing to say,
Yeah.
I think.
And I liked that Edgeworth declared his motivation for basically betraying his role in court was making sure that justice was delivered to the guilty party that he now knew was guilty. Even though it did mean
He's a good guy.
he did really bad at his job.
Yeah.
He also says, someone says you've done a miracle again. I think this is actually during the court still, like going
Yeah,
back
the
a
judge
bit.
says it.
I believe the judge says to Phoenix, you've done a miracle again. And Edra says, I think not. Will Powers was innocent, and that he should be found so is natural. Which is really funny for a guy with 100% win rate to say. Just so, like, white-knuckling the desk, not thinking about all the innocent people I've sent to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This fucking man, I swear to God.
So yeah, we
Cool.
put a mafia leader in jail. We
Wait, well, there is another
There's
Edgeworth line.
another really good one. He says immediately after Phoenix says, aren't those kind of necessary? He says, they only serve to get in my way. You listen to me, Phoenix Wright. Don't ever show your face in front of me again.
never go to court again.
That's what I
Quit
came
your
here to tell
job.
you. He said, get out of my school.
He's so funny.
Another though, I think I mentioned this last time as well, but I don't like his like forward-facing profile.
Yeah,
it's like
it looks
looking at a
strange.
horse.
It really is. He's not supposed to look at me like that. If I saw
Yeah.
Phoenix from the front, I would be freaked out too.
Yeah, we're spared that, I think.
I'm gonna Google it right now.
It's so funny
Phoenix
because
Wright
let me-
full
Be careful.
frontal.
no, nope. The reason I started playing Hades in the first place is because Thanatos looks like Edgeworth. And the same thing is true of Thanatos, where you see that front-facing sprite, and it's just like, ugh! Oh, God!
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
I feel like they did it on purpose.
But we did it. We did another case.
We did.
Guys, this is the most important part of the episode.
Oh, God.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna ask a question, and I don't want anyone to be upset.
Okay.
Do you guys
Never.
remember what metric you used to review the last episode?
Yeah, of course. It's the same
Absolutely
metric I
not.
used to review as anything.
Oh, shit. Okay, I don't know what metric I used in the last episode, but recently I have been extremely fond of the 10,000 point metric.
Oh, this is... you and Adam truly are right.
I want to say, every time Ro has mentioned this, it has gone up by 1 power of 10.
It's a maximum of 10,000.
Alright, tune in for the 100,000 point scale next week.
How exciting.
No, I unironically, I 100% seriously believe in this metric, and it is my chosen manner in which I will review all media from here to the foreseeable future. And the reason for that is that if I were to condense it down into like a 10-point metric, then people could scrutinize it too easily.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, if it's so many different numbers, then you know I'm thinking about it more than I would be if it were just 10.
Right.
And definitely not just picking like an arbitrary number in the region that you want to.
Yeah,
give
don't
them
worry
out.
about it.
Isn't that how we're all doing it? I say as a professional game reviewer.
Here's the thing. Here's how my metric works. The first number is my rating on 1 to 10. The second number is...
Mhm.
It's tragic how they were killed immediately.
Wow. It's too powerful. She had to be stopped.
Whoa, where did you go?
Oh my god. What the fuck
Well,
is happening?
The second number...
Oh, fucking hell.
The second...
They tried to silence her.
The second number is... The second number is an important one, okay? The second number is how happy it made me.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
The third and fourth numbers are a scale on 100 of how much it upset me.
Fair.
Okay.
With a
This means a higher number is worse?
No, if it's 100, it means it didn't upset me. I mean, if it's
Okay.
99,
I
it means
see.
it didn't upset me.
It's a negative rating.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
It can't be 100.
It's inverse proportional.
It's so easy to understand and do, and I'm definitely not going to change what these numbers mean at some point in the future.
Yeah, it's really easy to understand and do, except you've just described 4 numbers. And there are 5 of them.
Yeah.
Well, that's only for
I
ones.
guess, no,
that's
because
only
it's
for
out.
ones. Yeah,
'Cause
that's
you-
only
yeah.
for the legendary.
Yeah.
That's only for the legendary 10,000, which is
Okay,
What?
second point.
What?
Surely this means that it's actually a scale that goes up to 19,999.
I'm not saying that a 10,000.
No, 10,999. I know how numbers
No,
work.
it goes, okay, but like, if I said it was a 10-point scale, would it go from 0
Yeah.
to 10 or 0 to 9?
No, because what you said, the first number is a 10-point scale, right? So if you score this 10, and then you add on extra numbers after that.
Don't worry about it. But
I'm not worried.
you also have to consider the number as a whole.
I see.
So if it's 10,000, it's the most. If it's 0, it's the
Okay.
most.
Oh, I'm learning
You
so much
don't
about
get any
numbers.
other information. Fuck off.
I am going to refrain from personally attacking this system because you are my friend and you've put a lot of thought into this. However, I'm going to make a general criticism of rating systems in that I personally believe that every point you don't use should be taken off the point scale of that system. If you have a 10-point scale and you only rate things from 6 to 10, that's a 5-point scale.
Yeah.
True.
So with that in mind, Rowan, you're going to start rating a lot of things.
Okay. I will do the grim deed and rate this one first. I feel like
Okay.
this was probably the most engaging episode of the game that we've had so far in terms of the actual process and the crime and the narrative that it built up. But the downsides of this one, I think, were a bit more severe than the downsides of any of the others.
Really?
Well, I'm trying to genuinely remember what the stuff I didn't like about the previous episodes was.
Do you remember Mia Fey and April May?
Yeah, I remember them. And I remember that April May was, like, weird and was, like, a character designed by perverts. But she wasn't a pervert.
Right.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, true.
And I feel like that's the sticking point for me, is that this is a game where I had to entertain having an experience with perverts. Which is what, like, I can't understate how uncomfortable interacting with that character made me. And not to mention, a lot of the other side characters are, like, not ones I would rate particularly highly. Like, Old Bag is a stereotypical grouchy old lady. Penny is literally the most sidelined side character imaginable. Vasquez is cool, but she's honestly not in it very much.
I want to push back on Old Bag a little bit because she is a security guard, which is not an old
That
woman's
is
job.
that is very uncommon. You're right. That is not a manner in which you typically see old women betrayed. But I feel like the fact that she is an old woman is so much more important to her character than the fact that she is a security guard. Because her actual role as a security guard is she doesn't do it. She does a bad job at it. But overall, I would like to say that I had a better time playing. This one felt like a lot more investigative. So I feel like I had a better time playing through this case than I did the previous one, outside of some, like, you know, old school mechanical stuff that sort of rubbed me the wrong way, and some of the characters being gross, and some of the, you know, generic stereotypical writing choices. The actual trials were good. I felt confident in all of the actions that I took. It didn't feel like the game was pulling some bullshit on me with specific pieces of evidence. So I'm going to rate this one. I can't remember what I rated the last game or what metric I used, so I'm just going to have to base this on this case on its lonesome. So I think I'm going to rate this one a 7,219.
Absolutely incredible.
And now Adam's going to open their stupid mouth and say, oh, you just rated it 7.2.
I am biting my tongue so
Fuck you.
fucking hard right now.
Fuck you!
Literally biting my tongue. I don't really have a lot to say about this one. I think I agree with Rose's criticisms to some extent, but I really liked the mystery at the heart of this one. It had a lot of good twists, and it just felt really engaging in a way that the first two cases hadn't. So on my traffic light rating system, I think this is a green for me. I didn't like Sal, but we didn't interact with him much. I think outside of Penny, he's probably the person you interact with the least. And yeah, I like the puzzles. There were some real thinkers in there. So I'm back on board, baby.
I didn't realize you were off board.
I gave the first two cases reds.
Red. I've been thinking about it for weeks.
Damn, from a red to a green. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I believe that we nixed orange in the last episode because I was like, this undermines your entire rating scale.
All right.
We might see some yellows / ambers / oranges in the future.
We might see them.
But I'm pretty confident on this being a green.
My rating scale was, what is the best age to play this case? Which I have been thinking about. You have to be old enough to understand what. You have to be peak Fujoshi age. I don't think I've ever said that word out loud. And you have to be young enough to not think too hard about salmonella and how creepy it is. So I think you have to be like 15, 16. I think this is the key.
You think 15,
I think this
16?
case is also a real thinker. Like,
wait, you think 15,
a
16
16-year-old's going to be really on top of that?
I think a 15, 16-year-old would still be
part?
creeped out by salmonella.
Yeah.
I mean, like, deducing that, Here's the thing, I've forgotten every detail of this case over the last 2 years.
You mean the puzzles and stuff, though?
Yeah, like...
Yeah. I don't remember ever having too much of a problem with that, but I remember not appreciating the full weight of the gay subtext when I first played it. So, you're right, I do think a 15, 16-year-old would understand that salmonella is creepy, but I don't think you would think too much about, like, what actually happened with the whole pink princess thing.
Right, yeah.
I think it's much more horrifying when you're an adult and you're like,
yeah,
this is a guy abusing his power versus, this is just a creepy guy. Devin, I feel like your rating was a 1 to 7 scale and I don't remember why.
No, I think it was an A to F.
Oh, it was a letter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I thought, for some reason, Devin's scale was time.
Huh.
Time in what way?
Like some point on a 24-hour clock.
Oh my god.
That's really abstract.
I love that because then I don't have to commit to shit, and if anyone challenges me on anything, I can just be like, yeah, that's what I meant.
You can do that.
You can do a different system every episode.
You can do the system that came to Rowan a different way.
What if my system changed every week, and therefore I didn't have to remember shit, and it was an accurate representation of my memory?
You do not want to commit to having to come up with a different rating scale every week.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
I felt like a
cases.
fool. I've I've been rating things on a 1-dimensional scale, and here you are with a
Yeah.
4-dimensional one ready to go.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with letters. I can't remember what I rated the last two. I feel is it like A to F? It's not the
No,
entire
I think it should be
alphabet.
A. I think it
so.
should be A to Z.
Oh shit, okay.
But S still means best.
Do we do double and triple S? Do we do smoking sexy style?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
that's what it
fuck
should
yeah.
be, Devin. It should be a Devil May Cry combo meter.
Yes, it fucking should be. Right, let me just Google something real quick. This is everything I need. Stylish ranks. Here we go. Alright, so I'm gonna go with Devil May Cry 4 because that is the one that I really poured too many hours into. So I would say, with this in mind, I would rate this one as Slammin' Beat, which is S. In that, it has some of my big ticket thing that I enjoy from games, which is the beginning of character arcs, but you don't know enough yet. So that's fun. Characters changing. Like, this, I remember very distinctly from being a child, like, this was the case where I was like, Edgeworth isn't just my rival. Like, this is a character I need to think about. And it's been
the Edgeworth
15
transformation in this case
years.
is so good.
It's really good, yeah.
And I have not stopped thinking about it. However, I do agree with all the other criticisms of the case. And I do find the navigation such a fucking chore with this one. And like, yeah, that just really annoys me. But I do think it's a really, yeah, like everyone has said, like the case is really interesting. You don't know who actually did it yet. And that whole thing, like, it's not just that you don't know who did it, but the like theme of like identity and who is who comes up so much. Just the Steel Samurai character in general. And I just like that as a fucking coherent theme throughout it. So yeah, great case.
Yeah.
Enjoyed.
We were the moon.
We were the
Oh,
moon.
yeah, we were the moon.
Fuck yeah.
We were the moon. I love our rating systems.
They rule. So next time we are playing the first half of a case called Turnabout Goodbyes, which is an interesting name because in the original release of this game there was only 4 cases. This would have been the last case. Then they added another one.
They added another case.
They did.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Was it so?
Yeah.
So it's a new case. They didn't split this one in half, is what you're saying.
No, so okay, so
We are doing.
we're gonna play Turnabout Goodbyes, but we're gonna split it because it's pretty long and there's a really good point to split at.
Okay.
And then, so that, once we finish that, so in 2 recordings time, that would have been the whole of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney when it was released on the Game Boy. Then when it was released on DS, they added another case which uses a lot of the DS mechanics
Right.
and does like chronologically come next. It's like, it does follow on from some of the stuff that happened. But it's really interesting that this is the last case that was originally in it because it goes back to what Devin was just talking about, character arcs and stuff. Well, we've got to find some stuff out, I guess.
Okay, so where in the case are we playing up to?
Okay, we are playing. There are 3 days in the case, the same as this one.
Mhm.
And we are playing the first 2 days,
I see.
both of which have an investigation and a trial.
Right.
So it actually ends after the second trial, like at the end of the second trial.
So on the wiki with the transcripts, the case is split
Yes.
into 6 parts. So
It's the first 4 parts.
I see. Okay, sounds good.
Oh, fuck, I spilt my cup full of sand.
That's not good.
That is unfortunate.
It was okay. It was just a little bit. It's fine. I got it.
Did you say sand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to check.
It was from my bunny.
Ah.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
I wasn't going to question it.
I think it's fine to have a cup of sand.
Yeah.
My little podcast treat.
Alright. Are we done here? Does anyone have anything they want to add or any predictions they want to make about Turnabout Goodbyes?
Oh, predictions?
Oh,
yeah.
hell
I'm
yeah.
going to say goodbye.
My
Whoa.
prediction is the bird did it.
Wow.
All right, yeah.
All right.
I think we're going to see a new prosecutor. There's only 2 other prosecutors in this game, and there are 2 cases left. I think this is a pretty safe bet.
I don't know, because I've seen the guy. I've seen the guy before. The bad guy in the next one on the splash art. The guy with the big jewel in his cravat.
Mm.
The old man with the slick back hair. And
Who do you think that is?
but I've only ever seen him. I thought he was going to be the prosecutor at first, but I've only ever seen him from the perspective of someone on the podium for witness testimony. So I don't know who the prosecutor's going to be. If it's Edgeworth again, like, what are we fucking doing here?
Edgeworth is just showing up to the prosecutor's office like, hey, what case is Phoenix on next?
What
have
happened to
to
that
beat
other
this
guy
guy.
from the first case? What was his name?
Winston Payne.
Oh yeah. And now that's a pun that I like.
He's gonna come back as the final boss.
Yeah, he's gone through his own soul searching just like Edgeworth, and he's gonna come back and be good at his job now.
That'd be crazy. He like stands up straight. You can see his eyes through his glasses.
He's wearing contacts now. I feel like I know too much about this next case. I can't make any predictions, I'm afraid. Tumblr likes this one a lot.
Yeah?
Why?
Who could say?
Weird.
They kiss at the end.
I don't know who the prosecutor is. I'll say that much. I do not know who the prosecutor is. If you force me to guess between the two on the cover, I could make a pretty good guess, I think. But I cannot say for sure.
I want to hear the guess.
I think it's the woman.
Okay.
Oh, the one with the whip?
Yeah.
Ah, nice. I want to know what her deal is.
I think I know part of what her deal is.
It's that she has a whip. It's that she is the last descendant of the Belmont clan.
Yeah. And maybe that guy with the jewel is like a vampire or something.
That would make sense.
So vampire coded.
I'm really excited to get to this one. This one has
Me
a
too.
reputation.
I don't know what you mean. It's just another case of a game.
Devin, is this your favorite case?
Ooh. I cannot pick between this and one other.
Is it the one that I'm thinking of?
I mean, probably. I don't fucking know, actually. There are some banger cases, but this is definitely, like, top 3. But, is it my favourite? Ask me next time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
I think this
so
is
many
honestly
notes
my
on this
favorite.
case. I'm so glad we're splitting this into 2,
Yeah.
otherwise that shit would have hit 20 plus pages.
It might anyway.
I feel like I need to state publicly for the podcast that I write notes like a fiend.
So true.
It's true.
I wrote 6 lines for the part 5 of this case.
That's wild.
That was it.
I probably wrote 6 pages.
I just wrote, of course, for the entire last segment of the case.
Of course, verily.
I think at that point my brain was just like, I have no other thoughts.
Here,
So I
2,
just
4.
play game.
And
One of my notes is like, this was such like a stream of consciousness thing for me. One of my notes is just the solution to one of the puzzles. Like I was playing a puzzle game and just writing down notes.
I love that.
Hey, it didn't take us 4 hours, so fucking good
Yeah.
job,
It
team.
didn't.
Another one in the books.
Sweet.
We still don't know how to end a podcast, though.
We, what
Thanks.
thank you
listening
for
to
coming to
this.
our courthouse where we've put you on trial for the crime of listening to podcasts.
Oh, wait, no, let me try one. Well. How about that for another tale in the Chronicles of Phoenix Wright and Co. Join us next time where we'll crack open another story in this man's rich life.
Fare thee well,
Oh
traveler.
my fucking god. No, I have a fucking request. Do you remember when we were playing that fucking game and you were doing the, oh god, what's his fucking name? The William Riker actor
Oh
impression?
my god.
Can it just be that about the case?
I forgot about
Just
that.
random shit?
Oh, I don't know if I still have that.
Oh my god, Adam, you
It's
have to have that. It was
incredible.
so good.
A steel samurai committing a murder?
It's-
Is that facts or fiction?
Did we become the moon?
Did we?
They say that this case could only be solved by the moon.
Children emerging from drain pipes? It's more likely.